Let me put that here. That's right. I do need to read all the super chats from yesterday that I didn't get to because I'm like giga cruel, mega evil. So that should be good. Hey, how's it going, everyone? How we all doing? What's up? What are we doing? Back at it again? Back at it again, exactly. You get it. Course. Course. God's the one and only creator. I see that cross. I don't know. It kind of seems like it's 3 creators. You know, if we count by essence, which is the way that we count like everything, it seems like it enumerates 3. We got 3 things with the same essence. It's 3 things. I'll be back when people start. Yeah, that's fair enough, I think. Thoughts on Kant. Bro never reads my comments. Of course I do. How dare you? Yeah, I have some thoughts on Kant. I really like his ethics. I think that his ethics are quite good. In fact, I think that I find myself falling close to his ethics in like 2 very similar ways. The first is that I was talking about this yesterday, but so there's a distinction between like reasons internalism and reasons externalism. We act for specific reasons and we act towards specific goals, but there's a question of whether or not all of the reasons that we have to act come from the goals that we have, or whether there are reasons that come from like external factors. But it doesn't really seem like it makes any sense at all to say that there are like external reasons to do anything other than the goals that you have. Otherwise, you can like rationally reflect on them and ask, well, okay, but why should I do that? Why should I do that? Why should I do that? And unless it's something that is your goal, that you have made your goal, it seems like there's nothing that could end that regress. So I agree with Kant about that whatever reasons we have to do whatever actions we could take, all these reasons are going to be deriving from our goals, from our ends, as he would call them. I agree with him on that. I agree that, therefore, like the methodology that we should use for determining right and wrong is like an a priori one. Like we should try to deduce right and wrong with logic. I think that that's good. I don't know if I agree with his conclusions per se, but I think that he's on like the right track. I also I don't really have any thoughts on his like epistemology or metaphysics or any of that. One sec. Let me but make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Thoughts on metaphysical realism? I am not quite sure I know what that means. Is that just saying like there are some like metaphysical statements or like some metaphysical facts? I think there are some metaphysical facts. So if that's all you're saying, then I think that that's true. But I don't know. I haven't looked into metaphysical realism, so maybe it means something totally different, in which case I'm agnostic. Okay, one sec. Let me get something situated. Okay, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. All right, let's get to the very first guest. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, what's up?
Good. Real quick, Bruce responded to the thing. I asked him again about the modal collapse issue, and I was just wondering if you wanted to hear about it.
Yeah,
What he said.
yeah. What do you think solves? Well, first of all, let me get the audience some context. So,
Oh, sure.
here seems to be the problem. One sec. And this is in terms like the PSR. Every contingency has a sufficient explanation. If every contingency has a sufficient explanation, then the set of all, or I don't know, like the conjunct of all contingencies has an explanation. If the conjunct of all contingencies has an explanation, then the explanation is necessary, not contingent. But of course, you know, if
Right.
something necessary explains, maybe we'll say, if a necessary fact or facts are sufficient for some further fact, then of course, you know, the further fact is necessary. So that kind of seems to be the problem, is that it seems like if you're saying there's like a necessary explanation, well, a necessary explanation is going to produce a necessary thing.
Yep. So yeah, this is exactly what I brought
Yep.
to him. I'm like, you know, if there's even if it's not, you know, just P, if it's PQR that entails, you know, something else, if PQR and all that is necessary, then it follows. And what he said was, okay, it seems that that's just not the case in the real world. For example, that I go kayaking does not necessarily imply that I get wet. I can dry off. I can just not get wet. So he basically said, we're just calling it some explanation. It doesn't have to necessarily entail Q. God's necessary will doesn't necessarily have to entail. And we just see that because, you know, we seem to observe contingent state of affairs in the real world.
So, okay. I understand that, but then that seems to be a reason to reject the PSR. That what would be the sufficient explanation for you not getting wet?
Oh, you could have dried off. You could have that in his email he said I could have dried off. I could have just not gotten wet by splashing. Just because I go kayaking doesn't necessarily entail that I get wet.
You know, I get that, but let's say that you, or I don't know, let's say you do get wet. So in this circumstance, there would be, if you're saying every contingency has an explanation and you're saying that's a contingent fact, well, the fact that you get wet is going to be a contingent fact.
Yep.
And there's going to be some explanation there. That explanation is something maybe like, you know, you got splashed, or, you know, maybe you fucked up, you tipped the kayak over accidentally or something. But then if that's a contingency, then that too is going to have an explanation.
Exactly.
So you could chain together all those contingencies. They're going to need some explanation that's not contingent. But then if the explanation is sufficient for the first link, then the first link is just necessary. Like, unfortunately, it is just like a rule of modal logic. So if we have necessarily P implies Q. If the, sorry, let me, then necessarily Q.
This is exactly what I emailed back. I tried saying that, yeah, well, like the problem is the atheist is going to say, well, you know, kayaking isn't strictly necessary. You know, God's will is. So this is where the issues arise. And he kind of just said, oh, well, you know, here's some good articles. You know, it's a difficult issue. And I'm like, okay, that's fair enough, I guess. I know you've heard some reformulations of the PSR. Do you know of any that like maybe get around this?
So my understanding is that like the weaker PSR probably just collapses into the stronger PSR. Like maybe you want to say, I don't know, maybe you want to do like a weak PSR and you want to say every contingency possibly has an explanation, but then you
So
can
then
take the entire like conjunct of contingent facts. Or yeah, so it seems like you can run the same thing, right? Like you can take like the entire conjunct and then possibly that has an explanation. But if it has an explanation, then the explanation is necessary. So
right.
then it has a necessary explanation. But then that just necessitates all the things again.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. This is why, like, in a few weeks, if it's okay with you, I kind of want to run the fine tuning.
Sure, that's totally
Yeah,
fine. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if you remember, but like, I'm not definitely not a classical theist. I'm still like, I'm leaning towards theism a tiny bit. But I like if somebody asks on the street, I'm probably agnostic now. But I mean,
Sure. Well, I mean, that's pretty
yeah,
cool. I mean, Matt, huge respect to you for changing your mind. It's good to
dude.
explore the issue. There are like a lot of, I think the fine tuning stuff is probably more compelling. If you want like another good place, I think I don't understand psychophysical harmony very well, but a lot of people that I respect think that it's pretty good. So
I'll look into it, dude. And like, let me just say, you've made me think about like becoming a vegan and like vegetarian as well. Like,
whoa, that's
yeah, because
awesome.
I looked into I think it was humor that like really hit the head, and I know you've advocated for him before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So I looked into him. I'm like, he actually does have really good points. Like, I kind of just, when I was a classical theist, I would just be like, oh, well, that's just the way God meant it and whatever. But no, I
Mhm.
actually think. I mean, yeah, I agree with humor on a lot of points. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I think that you'll find a lot of humorous points intuitive.
yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Is there anything else? Otherwise, I super appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'll be back in like 2-3 weeks once I have some decent points.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Well, that guy's cool. I like him. I think it's always nice to hear. Um, oh yeah, sorry. Okay, let me read. Do we just have all the supers from yesterday? Excellent. Okay. I'm gonna read the supers from yesterday. I'm so sorry. Uh, Grimmy, thanks so much for the super chat. I guess to describe my definition of primordial would be fundamentally absence of cause. Yeah, I think time. If I remembering correctly, the question was, is time primordial? I think time has to be primordial. If what you mean is like absent cause, um, I don't think time is the sort of thing that could be caused, because I think that anything that could cause time would, it would need to undergo like some sort of change. Otherwise, time would just be eternal again. And then it's not clear to me. Atemporal causation doesn't really make sense to me. The Rabid Squirrel Sage, thanks so much for the super chat. I recently had a hard decision about a job offer. I always would have known to some extent that it was immoral, but thanks to you, I had a concrete format to determine, so I appreciate it. Whoa, hey, thank you so much for that. I appreciate the super chat, and I also think that it's like so cool to hear that. Like I really do appreciate that. It means a lot when people tell me that I'm having like an impact on their lives. That like the philosophy that I talk about here gives people like frameworks to actually decide things. Um, I'm glad to hear that. Although, you have to also do what's best for you. But yeah. Grimlock, thanks so much for the $25 Cash App. I appreciate that. Let's read the next one. Nikki, thanks so much for the super chat. Dear guests, please learn the difference between scientific theory, a colloquial theory, and theorem. This theory isn't proven thing is getting old. Yeah, also the history of the word theory actually started out as like a scientific thing. And the more mainstream interpretation of like a theory is just a guess. This comes about via like journalists appropriating the term theory, like in its original context, which is still the way that's used in science. It is not just a guess. It is like a hypothesis that has tons of evidence for it, right? Like, I don't know. It's in a scientific setting, a theory is something that's going to have tons and tons of evidence. Nikki, thanks so much for the super chat. Biola University is a Christian college. That's true. Although the Biola University stuff was kind of a blunder on his part because it just agrees with me that Sean Carroll did put this forward. Past Ian, brains have biases. At some point, you're unable to consider evidence contradicting your beliefs. Next caller, allow me to demonstrate. True. Lion, thanks so much for the super chat. Good looking on the book, name respect. I don't get it. This one went above my head. I'm sorry. Bacon and Bush, thanks so much for the super chat. Escarlot's mic could stand to be a little lower. Philosophy question: if his volume was set to negative values, would he start making good arguments? I think his argument would at least be better than it was. That's probably for sure. Mike Bowen, thanks so much for the super chat. I am shamelessly begging my loved ones to buy me a copy of Knowledge, Reality, and Value because of you. Thanks for what you do. Hey, that's great. I really, really appreciate that. No, absolutely. That's awesome. You should read that book. Damn, it would have been so cool. I think we have PDFs for that in the Discord. But you have to be 18 or older to join the Discord anyway. So there are also probably PDFs that are publicly, well, not, you know, I don't know. You just have to take a trip to like Z Library or like Anna's Archive. Or the library. True. Arflu, thanks so much for the super chat. Is lab-grown meat immoral? I don't know why it would be. I think that the thing that makes it immoral in the first place, like, maybe. Probably not. My intuition is probably not. But then if it were to turn out that there's like an argument against it, it would probably have something to do with the fact that it's like the wrong sort of relation to have towards flesh, that you should just be like valuing flesh. But that seems implausible to me, I think. I'm pretty sure it's not immoral. That would be my, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go to the very next guest. You got to be 18 or older. You got to believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You could also be a deist. That's fine. At the very, very least, you need to think that there's like a mind that's like fundamental to reality, like an ultimate mind that everything else depends on. And it'd be chill if you had some reason to think that God exists.
Finally, bro. Do not say I'm trolling either like last time, dude.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 18.
And what religion?
Christian.
Yeah, what makes you think that God exists? If you're off the app, I can't hear you. Comps? If you're off the app, I'm about to drop you again. That's going to be so sad. Oh, that's depressing. He just went off the app. Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, my guy?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Yep. What religion?
I'm a follower of Christ.
Yeah, what makes you think that God exists?
Wait, why you think God don't exist?
I guess I think that when I look to the world around me, it just doesn't look like there's some all good being that's out there. You know, I see things like cancer and I see things like earthquakes, and it just seems like if there was this God who was all good, you know, in the same way that it would be good if I got rid of cancer, it must also be good if God got rid of cancer. So it just doesn't seem like there could be an all good God.
So you saying you don't think God exists because like all the bad things that happen in the world?
Yeah, let's single out like the natural bad things. Like, why do you think earthquakes exist? Why would God make a world with earthquakes?
We live in a cursed world, my God. You feel
Why?
me?
Why would God allow the world to be cursed?
That's a good question, but this the devil world. It's the devil playground.
It's not the devil that causes earthquakes, it's tectonic plates.
No,
We have like
bro,
a
you can't.
scientific explanation, which means that
How you
the
how did you
devil
get
just
here?
doesn't explain it. Wait, sorry, it feels like we're kind of pivoting away. I just want to know, like, why would God create a world that has tectonic plates that cause earthquakes?
How did you get here?
Are you not going to engage with the question?
I don't even know what Titanic play. Man, I don't know what
They're
that is.
the things that cause earthquakes. So there's these like plates. There's
Bro, we not
I don't know what the specific like genus that they
them.
fall under is. Maybe what are
Hey,
tectonic
them are
plates?
natural disasters, my guy.
Okay, sure. So there are these slabs of solid rock that
Yeah.
are way deep in the ground. They make up like a shell of the core of the earth.
Mhm.
And they shift around sometimes. And when they shift around, it leads to earthquakes. And earthquakes are very deadly. They can be, earthquakes kill around 200,000 people a year.
Mhm.
So God designed the earth. It says multiple times in the Bible that God made everything. He's the maker of all things. So God must be the maker of earthquakes. Why would God
Yeah.
make earthquakes?
We live in a cursed earth.
But God made them. It says that God's the creator of everything.
True.
Why would God make them?
Jesus Christ King, my guy.
Do you want to engage at all, or do
Yeah,
all
I
we
want
have
to
is
engage.
slogans?
I want to engage. I'm trying to see why you feel like God not real.
Yeah, because I don't think that it's good to create earthquakes. I
Cause of
think creating
earthquakes.
earthquakes is quite bad, actually.
That's why you don't think God real, cause
Yeah.
of
If
earthquakes.
God creates something, is it good?
No, not every. Is you good? Is you
No,
fully good?
I don't think I'd say that I'm all good, but you think that God's all good, don't you?
God is all good. He all
Yeah,
knowing too.
sure.
Is
So
you?
if God does something, is that thing good, or does God do evil sometimes?
He made you, right? Is you all good?
I'm not all good. Do you
Okay
think that
then.
God, so if God does something, do you think that thing is good?
You said what?
Does God ever do anything that's not all good?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I think that God can't be all good if he does things that aren't all good.
No, he put you. He give you situations so you can learn from it.
Like killing
So
200,000 people a year with
you can grow
earthquakes. Do you
from
think
it.
they learn a lot when all
It
these
ain't
people die
God.
from
That's not
earthquakes?
God.
He creates them.
It's not God. That's evil. That's the devil.
Okay, he creates them though. So it is God. Your book says that it's God.
It ain't God.
Okay, I mean,
You
that's
talking
just
about
you
a book?
disagreeing with your book.
God real. You
Okay.
can't. You not proving me. He
Damn.
not.
Bars, dude. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
Well, let's recognize that there are 7,200 working calendars. Okay, people just know about one of them. So, in relation to Greenwich time, I'm 43.
Wow. What a peculiar start. Which religion are you?
Is it peculiar or is it? Hold on. Is it peculiar or is it precise? And are you trying to relate
I've
this
never
to a
I've
normal
never
that
heard
is a completely
anybody.
manufactured
Whoa,
concept?
let's just calm
Listen,
down
hey,
there. I've just
hey,
never
hold
heard
on,
anyone say
man.
that
Hold
before.
on. I'm making a good
There's
point.
really no reason for you to be getting this upset
Yeah, I
this
know
early
because
on.
people.
I've never had somebody get this upset over
No,
the
bro.
how old are
You
you
were cutting me off.
question.
Hey, you're still talking over me. You're still no. I'm only trying to talk, and you talked over me. So
Okay,
me
go for
trying to
it.
raise my voice is simply me trying to counter that.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Jeez Louise. Well, in a let me address a couple of the things you were asking about. Like one of the things you were saying is
Wait, sorry,
why
what
would bad
religion are
things happen
you?
if there was an all good God,
Wait,
right?
sorry, wait, one thing at a time.
I don't
What?
identify through a religion.
Okay, but you're like Christian?
Bro, you asked me to lead, and then I try to do that, and then you cut me off, and
I
then
don't
change
think I
the
asked you to
subject, and you
lead.
say one thing at a
I just need to
time.
know what religion you are.
You
Stop
just
crashing
said
the
go
fuck
ahead,
out.
my guy. You said go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and finish the thing that you were
Oh, bro,
saying.
you
Don't
can't
start a
take
new
it.
topic. I need to know what religion you are.
I
You're
don't
like you're
identify through a
Christian,
religion,
but
bro. I was trying to say that.
okay. So your name is
No,
David
bro, I
Parker,
don't
Christ the
identify through any
living
of that
one.
shit.
So are you Christian? Are you a follower of Christ?
Christ means ultimate truth and bro, Christ means ultimate truth and supreme reality. It has nothing to do with the frameworks that you're trying to impose upon me, okay?
Okay. But would you say that you follow the Bible? Like you think the Bible is true?
It not in the literal sense that everybody that on social media talks about the Bible, no. Because
Okay.
it's a weapon and it says that over and over again, by the way.
Okay. Do you think
The
God
Hebrew or
exists?
what was the Torah and yes, it's just people have the same prescribed notion. That's what you're actually rejecting.
Wait, when
You're
you
not
say
denying God in
I'm
itself.
just trying to
You're
get clear
denying
on
this.
this. This should not be this hard
I'm
to
trying to
clarify your beliefs. I just want to, when you say God exists, what are you saying exists? Like what
Bro,
attributes do you ascribe to
you're
him?
operating from an erroneous framework.
That's why I'm asking
is
you. What
what
do
I'm
you mean
trying
when
to
you say
impart to
God?
you.
That's the thing that I'm trying to get clear on. No, I understand that you're saying that you don't believe in
Oh,
like God in the traditional
source of
sense.
mind.
The source of mind?
Mind. Just leave it at that. Mind.
Oh, I think mind exists.
Just call it that.
So I don't think that
is
that's
all that exists, bud. All that ever
Oh.
happens, all that ever
I don't think
happens
that could be
in
true.
the whole entire enterprise of existence. Listen, bro, shut up. We experience
calm
our
down.
understanding of whatever we think is going on. That's what a contextual window is.
Okay.
Okay? Which is in math, an inertial referential frame. Well, in relativistic physics, that's what it is. And they don't know that.
Gosh. Wow, we got LARP
That's what a
LARPs who are over
contextual.
here.
Yeah, bro, it's the same thing. Bro, why don't you ask questions and I'll go ahead and answer them for you.
What's the argument that everything is mind?
Because all that ever happens, despite the very obvious appearance of things being contrary to this, all that's actually going on is we experience our level of understanding in relation to whatever we think is going on. That is all of fucking existence, bro.
Sure.
There's no such thing as fucking anything that you think exists in science, bro. All of that stuff is part of reification.
How would you explain the
Bro,
fossil
it is.
record?
It's a fucking you've
Oh
never
boy.
seen.
This
Bro,
is a huge
you've never
crash
seen
out.
any of the stuff that you would
You're
say
kind of
exists as
embarrassing
outer
yourself. You
space
should
or
probably take
in
a
a
deep breath.
subatomic world.
What about the people who have, right? Like, what if I got a
Bro,
physicist up here
see,
who
you always have
explains
to
to you
result
that
to
you've
that.
like
When you
looked,
guys
or that he's
can't, when
looked
you
through a
guys realize you
telescope?
don't know shit, when you guys
Well, I just want to
hey
know.
bro, when you guys realize
Wait, I
you
just
don't
want to
know
know.
shit,
Wait,
you
what
always
if I have
result
looked
to
through a
doing
telescope?
this.
Like when I look to the sky and see the stars, what are those?
Those are optics cut to the
Whoa,
same
calm
fucking
the fuck
narrative.
down.
They're
There's
not
no
telling you
reason to yell.
reality. They're
Holy
showing
shit,
you
you're
what
so
the
mad.
fixed optic
What did
is
I say to
showing
make
you.
you so mad? Just calm the
Bro,
fuck
I'm
down.
not
Take
mad.
some
I'm
deep
talking over
breaths.
you because you want to
But if
interrupt
you
and
want to
you
take
don't
some
know
deep
what you're
breaths,
talking
you should
about.
try our sponsor, BetterHelp.
Bro, you don't
Use
know what you're talking
discount code. No, I'm kidding. I
Bro,
don't have
you
a
don't
BetterHelp
know what you're
sponsorship.
talking about,
I
and you
disavow. I
keep talking
disavow.
over me. And so when I talk back over you, it turns into a whole
Yeah.
thing. You're trying to handle me right now, and you're
No,
doing
you
it with
should-
condescension because you're lame
should
like
calm
that,
down.
bro. You don't know what you're talking about, and because you're getting real butthurt right now, you want to resort to name calling.
You literally were
you
screaming
know I'm
earlier.
right,
You think
bro.
that I'm the
You
one
know
that's
I'm right.
butthurt? I'm actually giddy
Oh,
because I'm
bro.
like so excited that I have a
No,
real deal,
I
genuine
care
crash
about being
out.
precise
You
and
know,
the truth, and
I
that's
think
what my
that
point
I think
is. I'm
Dr.
not
Blitz
yelling
would love
because
to
I'm
talk to
upset
you. You
with
should
you,
definitely
bro.
go to Dr. Blitz's
You don't
stream. He
even know
never
what
gets
you're
the good
talking
crash
about, so
outs. It's
why would I
always
be
me.
upset?
So, do you want to calm down? Do you want to take a deep
Bro,
fucking breath?
first of all, you're a big deal in your own mind, okay? Let's go ahead and get that clear.
That's great.
You're a big deal in your own
You're
mind, pal.
telling me that everything is mind. It's like a gibberish position. So mental states are about things.
No, actually, then no, it's not gibberish.
Okay, I'm
All I
explaining to
did
you why
was
it is
very much
gibberish.
convey the initial point.
What are mental states about?
Bro, how is it gibberish?
Yeah, what are mental states about?
Mental states are literally whatever they're the correspondence to whatever you tell yourself is going on in that moment.
So when I see like this water bottle in front
That's
of me,
precisely
I have like
what they are.
I have vision of something. What is that vision of?
You have the conscious experience of the water bottle. You don't
so I
experience
do
it
experience
directly.
the water
you have the
bottle.
fucking mental
Okay, wait.
experience
Yes,
of it.
yeah, sure. So then I do experience
bro,
the
you
water
do
bottle.
not.
You just said that.
You
Now you're
only have
contradicting
your
yourself.
thoughts about what it is.
Direct contradictions. You just said
No,
that it's
I'm
an
not.
experience
That is
of the water
literally the
bottle, and now
same
you're saying
point.
you don't experience the water
Conscious
bottle.
experience. I
Brutal,
said
brutal
conscious
contradiction.
experience every fucking time, dude.
You should
You
calm
only
down.
have your fucking thoughts of it. That's
You should
all.
seriously calm
No,
down.
because you're a fucking asshole and you're wrong and you keep saying.
I don't know
no,
why you're
dude,
yelling.
You talk
You should
over
just
me. I
calm
care
down.
about truth. I care about
Are you
precise.
sure?
Because you're a fag, bro. That's
Oh,
why. Yeah.
Wow, that's a
And yeah, I just called you that.
banger. Yeah, you know, in response to the substantive argument, what are mental states about?
If-
You know, we're dropping f-bombs over here.
I literally just said correspondence to the things that we tell ourselves is going on. I'm fucking right, dude. I've been
Correspondence to
handling
what?
you this
Is it-
whole
is it
time. The
other
only
mind?
things you do.
Are our mental states about other
Correspondence
mind?
to what we tell ourselves is going on, you fucking nitwit.
So when I see
God,
this,
you know what,
when I
bro?
see this
Just-
green,
this ain't
when I
worth
see the
it.
fact that this is
This ain't
green,
worth it, bro.
is what makes it green. The fact that I tell myself that it's green, I think that there's like some deeper fact there. And I know that you want to run the fuck away because you actually can't deal with the substance at all. You know, I know you got like just a bit like beat the fuck down on the substance. Oh, he ran. You know, fair enough. Wow, that one's clippable, I think, Molly. Generational crash out. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I feel like this couldn't be like that good of an objection, but for some reason, I can't find an idealist who can answer it. What is your experience of? Like, you have these mental states, and you're saying the mental states are all of reality. But then mental states are of specific things. Like I can have an experience of a water bottle, or like drinking from a water bottle, or I can, you know, I can have knowledge of some state of affairs. But what is that actually of? It would have to be like some other mental state. It just doesn't seem like there's any way to account for like the intentionality regress. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You could also be a deist, but what I will ask is that you believe that there's a mind that is ultimate. If you don't believe in that, don't request to join, and that will go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going, Eli?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how old are you?
37.
Sure. What religion?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
I was an atheist for like 30 years, and so I mean, I'll be honest. Like, it definitely came down to an experience for me. You know that
Mm.
I met some people and started getting really interested in the way they did life, and started being, you know, I wanted to try and kind of soak some of that into my own life and my own family, and how I raise my kids and how I treat my wife and my family, just everybody, you know. And those reasons alone aren't why I believe in God, but that was definitely like the spring to make me kind of pick a Bible up for myself. I grew up in like a fundamentalist, like Bible Belt area, Kentucky, where, you know, I heard all the worst parts of Christianity, you know, and kind of rejected it for a long time. And then never really sat around, and I couldn't say that I read myself or studied on my own. I just kind of bought in, obviously, to like what the atheists and what the liberals and non-religious people said, because I just agreed for a long time. And then, I don't know, I gave it a second shot. I started reading, I started praying, I started genuinely asking, like, God, are you real? If you're real, would you show me? Like,
Mhm.
and then I went through some experiences that have led me to believe that he is real. So I don't know if that's a sufficient answer, but that's where I'm at today. I've been a Christian
so-
for about 3 years now, you know.
Mhm. So there's a couple of things to say about that. One, I mean, obviously, I don't think the fact that you can take good teachings from something means that that thing is true. So, for example,
Sure.
I think you could probably take a lot of good lessons from like every religion. You know, you could probably
Yeah.
find a lot of good lessons in Hinduism. You could probably find a lot of good lessons in Islam. I don't think that that means that, you know, those things are true. I think you can also find, I don't know, like wisdom about how to raise kids, raise a family from things like virtue ethics. You know, I think virtue ethics talks pretty extensively about like moral development. So it seems like you could have like totally secular sources that account for the same thing. But in terms of like the religious experience, do you think that the only way to come to believing in God is through a religious experience?
No.
Is that the only evidence in the world, or is there like more evidence that might convince one that God exists?
I don't know. It's interesting because I'm not the kind of Christian that's like I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you God is real. I've never tried to do that. That's not the kind of Christian I am. I have probably a lot of the same disdain towards Christianity as you do. We'd probably agree on more than we disagree on that part of it, as far as what they do with it and how religion's used and what they say to people and all this. But I agree. Like, I think there's plenty of ways you can find peace in your life, you know, outside of religion. You know, I think plenty of people do that. I think, and as I've read scripture, I mean, that's even biblical. Not that many atheists care about that, but I mean, that's biblical. You can find a way to be content, peaceful, and happy in this life. You know, like plenty of people do that, I think. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's like the story of the Good Samaritan that, you know, there are people who don't follow the religion at all who are nevertheless good people. But I guess, like, in order to make sure that the conversation is going somewhere, to make sure that we're not like two ships passing in the night, is there some piece of evidence that convinces you, or I'm sorry, you said that it came from personal experience, but do you think there's like other evidence that God exists other than like personal experiences?
So I guess, yeah, sure. I'll back up because this was a long journey for me. I mean, like I said, I was an atheist for 35 years. So, 34-ish. So like, and that journey took me through exploring all this different stuff. I was big into aliens for a while and the pyramids and yada, yada, yada. Well before I started searching and looking into God, I had already kind of decided that I thought evolution was not like a really great explanation for how we got here. You know, even before, like, and I kind of used to subscribe to the alien astronaut theory that I'm sure you guys are all well versed in, you know, where it's like, oh, aliens just planted us here and blah blah blah. I'm not saying you accept that. I'm just saying I'm sure you're familiar with those thoughts, right? Like,
listen, I don't. I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you, but none of that is evidence that God exists.
No, it's not.
Okay,
No.
Is there any evidence that God exists? That's the thing that I'm asking for.
What kind of evidence are you looking for?
So it could be anything that raises the probability that God exists. So something that you would expect if God existed, something that's kind of unexpected if God doesn't exist. So for example, some people will point to, you know, the configuration of the universe and say, well, the fact that life exists is like unexpected if God doesn't exist, but it's expected if God does exist. Something to that effect.
So originally I don't know if you'd call this evidence, but I believe it's kind of silly to just accept that humans like evolved on this planet the way that we are now. Like, we hate it here. Like, we don't actually like it here. We spent like we don't like, if you look at any other species out in nature, they all seem content here and we don't. Like, we're trying to build our way to be more comfortable. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too this, it's too that. Let's build things, let's be technological, let's try and like we don't have claws, we don't have teeth, we don't have sharp teeth, we don't have fur. Like, it doesn't seem like I feel like an apex predator on this planet would look more like what a dinosaur would. Like, I mean, we just don't seem like how did we evolve to this point? And we don't seem like we would have got, like, our brains. We usually attribute it to our brains, right? But how did our physicality get to this point?
Yeah,
to develop the brains, right? Like,
I don't know how many like nature documentaries you've watched, but that's like for sure not true. The vast majority of animals have miserable lives. They have like terrible, horrible, awful lives. Like,
what do you mean
seriously,
terrible and horrible?
Yeah, like imagine, you know, on a regular basis, you are running for your life to not
what I'm
get
saying is,
gobbled
I'm
up
not
by
saying
something.
enjoyable. I wasn't talking about how enjoyable the life is. I was saying the fact that their bodies seem to be more equipped to deal with the elements here than ours. That's what
Ours are plenty equipped. We just deal with the elements differently.
Yeah, by building things, because we don't feel that comfortable here. That's my point.
We could probably survive in nature too. Like,
we can, yeah. But why aren't we content with that?
Because humans are maximalist. Kind of all animals are, you know, in the same way that if something is available to you, of course you'll take it. That's true of basically every animal. You know, you see this with your pets. If you just open up, like, if you laid out a ton of cat food, your cat is probably just going to keep on eating. your cat's going to eat so much damn food. That's all animals, right? Across all axes of the things that they want. I mean, humans want comfort in specific ways, so then we build ourselves the means to do that because we have the capability to build those things. If other animals had the capability to build the things that we had, they probably would.
Yeah. Well, so to my point, just that idea on its own, that I don't feel like we're a species that actually evolved through here in the way that like science explains we did. I've never seen life come from non-life. I've never observed that. I don't think we've ever
Do you think
observed
God's
that.
alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he has
In
like,
what sense? That's an odd question.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? Like that's
I mean, I
the
believe he
exact thing.
exists, but
So-
alive, like that's a
So I take life to be something like you have like cellular anatomy, or at least like in order to be alive, you would need to have some anatomy.
sure. Well, all those things are ideas that exist inside of our reality, but I believe in a God that exists both inside and outside of our reality. So I don't know what kind of laws apply to whatever reality God lives in. You know,
then that's a problem
you know.
for what you just said then, because you're saying that evolution can't be true because we've never seen life come from non-life.
I didn't say it can't be true. I just said I don't hold to it because I've never seen it happen.
You will, okay, but your specific example is that we've never seen life come from non-life, but then
Right.
that's true under your view as well. Like
How?
you think that there's no reasonable definition of life. At least you'd have to use like two different definitions of life in order to say that God is alive. You couldn't be using the definition of life that's related
That
to all
is
the
why I
things
asked
that
for a
we've
qualifier,
observed.
right? Because I'm not sure that God holds to the same
Yeah, exactly.
biology or chemistry. Yeah, so that's why I asked for the qualifier. So,
But
yeah, I
under
agree.
the
I
exact
agree.
same sense of the definition, you would have to say that life, like human or like cellular life, came from non-cellular life.
It could. Why not? I don't know.
Sure. Well, I mean, have you ever seen that? If that's the
No.
basis that you're discounting evolution on, then it seems like you should be discounting your own hypothesis, right? You've never
So
seen
I'm
God
not
create.
necessarily discounting evolution. I'm not claiming to know enough to totally
Yeah.
discount the idea, right? Like I'm just saying I've never observed life come from non-life, and as much as through what I've studied so far and from my understanding, neither even did the people who started these theories. I know that there is some strong evidence for like microevolution and stuff, and I know that when you look at viruses, I understand what evidence is there to support like abiogenesis, but the idea that inanimate matter could just will itself into being animate.
I don't think that anyone has said that. But have you ever seen God create?
Yeah, I've got kids.
Oh, well, that seems to be coming from you. Seems like you can account from that. Have you ever seen
Yeah, but
God
that's
do like the
life.
first act of creation for life?
No, I haven't seen it. I just
Then-
believe it happened.
Well, yeah, exactly right. But then you have a double standard. What's different between you've never seen life come from non-life, so you don't believe in evolution, but you've never
Mhm.
seen life, you've never seen like God produce the first life form, so why would you think that God produced the first life form? I mean, also, frankly, I don't think you've ever seen God produce any life form. You have no reason
Yeah.
to think that God produced your kids.
Yeah, I'll give you that because, like, I'm not a Christian that thinks that like everything I believe can be backed up by some kind of science that you're going to accept as an unbeliever, right? I'm not ever going to try and say you should. I don't need all that, so like, I don't need to see God create the first life in order for me to believe that He did. But I was working backwards to that point from the idea that I first definitely don't believe that life can come from non-life. So
Why not?
inside, because we've never seen it inside of our reality. We haven't
You
seen
think
it
that
happen.
just because we haven't seen something means that it's not possible?
That's what you think about God.
That's definitely not what I think. The reason why I don't think that God is possible has nothing to do with the fact that I can't see him. I believe in
Okay.
lots of things that I can't see or haven't
That's fair.
seen. I think that there are like logical problems for God, that there's like certain like contradictions that we get from God's existence.
Like,
So, okay, God's the creator of all things, so that means that God would be the creator of like tumors. But, if God's creating tumors, that would make them good. But tumors are bad, so
according to who?
if you had the power to get rid of all cancer in the world, would you do it?
Sure.
Why? Is it because it's good? Is it because tumors are bad?
It is because of subjectively to me, they are bad. But
Okay.
how do I even know that if I got rid of all the tumors, that would actually be objectively good for all of human civilization?
Well, I mean, this is kind of like the problem is that it seems like your view locks you into believing that tumors are ultimately good because from your view,
No,
God
I don't think
knows
that.
whether or not getting rid of all the tumors would be a good thing or not, and God's not getting rid of them. So it seems like we should infer that God believes that it wouldn't be good to get rid of all the tumors.
So if we move to a moral discussion on God, like I'm more than happy to do that, but that's like it's a different discussion. If you don't believe God's real at all, then why even worry about his morality?
It's an
That's kind of
internal
my question.
critique.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
what's
So
happening is that you're saying that
I
this
can
thing
expand on
exists.
it.
I'm saying that this thing doesn't exist because if it did exist, there would be this contradiction.
Okay.
And because contradictions
And
are
you think the
impossible.
morality
yeah.
is the contradiction? And the morality is one of the contradictions that holds you
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. I think that you probably end up with like a bit of a dilemma. Either you have to accept like pretty crazy moral beliefs about what's good and what's not good, or God doesn't exist.
What is good and not good?
For me, are you asking for me? Or
In
are you
general,
asking for
like,
you?
objectively, like for
Sure.
the sake of
Well,
the
if you want just
conversation.
like the general framework, good refers to the things that everybody has a reason to do. So I just want to know, do you think that if God had the power to make all cancer disappear instantly, do you think God would do that?
God does have that power.
Yeah.
I believe he does. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do, but I believe he does. Sure.
And clearly he hasn't gotten rid of all the cancer. But I
Right.
mean, if you had the power to get rid of all the cancer, would you get rid of all the cancer?
Yeah, I have a very so like I'm one person out of how many humans do you think have existed? 20 to 30 billion?
I think in that ballpark, like 100 billion
Okay,
something.
we'll just say for the sake of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm one guy with one limited time frame out of 20, 30 billion. How does my limited perspective on this planet make me the give me like a morality on good or bad? How do I know what's good for the greatest 20, 30 billion or all the people that are going to come after me? If I believe in like the butterfly effect, then all actions have a reaction, right? Like anything I do, I don't really. How do I really know what I'm doing is good or bad to the whole?
Mhm.
Like if I only have one very very limited perspective.
Yeah,
Understand?
exactly. That's the
Like-
problem with the ethical framework
think
of the
that-
Bible is that it makes you
I would say
skeptical. Like
that's-
you can't know whether or not curing cancer is good anymore.
Hey, I'll come back. I want to hang out with my kid for a little bit.
That's
I love
totally
the
fine. I
conversation.
totally understand.
You're great, bro.
Yep.
I will talk anytime with you. Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one. Totally reasonable. Fuck, that's like the one thing that I would need to figure out how to do when I have kids. How do you resist the temptation to just say, you know, I want to go hang out with my kid or something? The V dude, thanks so much for the super chat. I don't think you could argue that you should value flesh to make lab-grown meat immoral. Otherwise, you'd need to value cancer cells / tumors. I think that's a good point. Yeah. No, I think that's probably pretty definitive or like decisive. That you should give as much like moral weight to lab-grown meat as you should to like tumors. Mike Bowen, thanks so much for the super chat. Too old to know how to work Discord, but I do know how to work internet piracy. Thanks for the rec, and hope this helps pay for your monitor setup. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck. Sir Poss, thanks so much for the 500 bits on Twitch. On the topic of lab-grown meat, it intuitively seems immoral to have lab-grown meat or items of things like people, for example, even if no agent is actually harmed. Yeah, I think that this is where we get into, I don't know, this is like a problem that I have with moral intuitionism, is that I think that our moral intuitions are like totally corrupted by the evolutionary process. I actually think the evolutionary debunking argument is like totally 100% successful against like so many moral beliefs, where it's like, okay, if let's say I'm gonna eat like a steak, but let's say it's like lab grown, so it's like ethical or whatever. But then let's say that this steak, let's say that it's not even human meat. Let's say that it's like cow meat, but then you have it specifically shaped to be like a human baby. I don't know, man. I'd start feeling quite weird about that one. But it doesn't seem like there's like a morally relevant feature there. It for sure doesn't seem like the theist I don't know. Like I don't really know like a moral system. I think you'd have to do like quite the contortion to come up with a reason to think that that would be wrong. Maybe you want to say that it like creates like maybe it says something about the person who's doing it, that there's like something like bad about them. Maybe there's like some virtue ethics explanation, but other than that, like I have truly no idea. But I mean, it's an example of how like I think our moral intuitions in certain circumstances are totally corrupted by the evolutionary process, which is why I think that you should use I generally don't think that we should arrive at the moral facts on the basis of intuition. Our flu, thanks so much for the tube chat. Why is it not wrong to domesticate animals? That's a good question. I have no idea. I bet there's probably tons of literature on this. Maybe you want to say something like stewardship, like you want to say that it's totally fine because the animal like wants to stay there. Or maybe you'd put them at like a level of agency where it's like totally fine to be like the caretaker of this person, even if they don't want to stay there. For example, like we do this with people who are like severely disabled, where they'll have like a caretaker for their entire lives. Maybe it's something like that. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. Bro got so mad that people smarter than him existed, he raged into Christ-flavored solipsism based. Eat some shorts, thanks so much for the super chat. These crash outs write their own case for having a crash out counter. True. You have to have like some like sort of aggravating circumstances, I think. Sir James, thanks so much for the super chat. Legendary crash out. True. Grimlock, thanks so much for the $25 super chat. Today's hydration donation. Kane Malice, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm not like those other Christians, sure, bro. They never are. Beavers hate it here. Maybe suck my dick? Is that SMDH? Is it like suck my dickhead? Is this some British thing? Shaking my damn head? Is it that? Oh, of course. Fuck, god damn it. Fuck. It's not fair. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, lots of animals just live like totally fucking miserable lives, right? Can you imagine how much it would suck to be a deer? And you're like running for your life until one day, like you're too old and frail and like the wolf gets you. And then you have to feel what it's like to get like torn limb from limb. You have to die like an awful death. Like, I don't know. The average animal lives a horrible life. Love how your view on morality is being adopted by more people. Is there any big defeaters or quandaries that you've found? God, I'm really giving the ops ammunition. Okay, I think that there are a couple of steps that are suspect. I actually think that the Gewirth stuff works when you integrate it into like a bigger virtue ethics framework, but I think on its own, there's like a couple of steps that probably just don't follow. So it's like this, right? I have a reason to have my freedom and well-being, and I have a reason for you to not interfere with that. So I would say that you ought not interfere with that. So I'm saying that from my perspective, I have a right to that. I think that all follows. I think the big problem, like the obvious problem that like nobody ever challenges me on, is the fact that I think the real difficult step is trying to establish, like, sure, you need to say that you have this right, but if you were that agent, you would need to say that they had that right. But like, why, when I'm this agent, do I need to say that that agent has this right? I think that's like kind of the critical step. So I think that virtue ethics solves this because I think under virtue ethics, justice, one of the things that you have reason to do on your own framework is treat like cases alike. So I think justice probably solves this. Like if you establish an obligation to justice or to just be like consistent with what you're doing, then that probably completes like the Gorth framework. I think that's probably the biggest problem. I'm yapping. Sorry, I have way more super chats too. I double apologize. Thanks so much for super chat. How do you account for those without agency, comatose people, mentally disabled, etc. in your moral theory? There's a couple of things you might want to say. First of all, well, okay, this is a great example of why I think that the Gorthian, this is like not just like a reason why like the argument itself fails, because it doesn't like reject a premise, but it's saying like the conclusion is absurd. I think virtue ethics actually 100% accounts for this, because virtue ethics is going to say that you need to value human beings, you need to value human life, you need to value things like a future like ours, you need to value things like established personhood, that all of these things are going to be valuable. I think that you probably want, I think you probably have to draw on like virtue ethics to give a compelling account of why that's wrong. That's true of the Kantian stuff as well. Thanks so much for the super chat. When you say evolutionary debunking, are you talking about Plantinga's evolutionary argument against naturalism? No, I'm talking about it's literally called the evolutionary debunking argument. I think there's like stuff on SEP. Yeah. Morality and evolutionary biology is on the SEP. And there's a section that talks about it. It's evolutionary metaethics is the section on the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy page, morality and evolutionary biology, that talks about it. Basically, the idea is that, so a debunking argument says that your belief is formed, that what caused you to form your belief doesn't stand in any sort of relationship to the facts of the matter. It's like, okay, let's say I'm trying to determine if there's an even or odd number of particles in the universe, and I have my magic 8-ball with me, and I give it a big old shake. Is there an even number of particles in the universe? And the magic 8-ball says yes. We would have a successful debunking argument against this belief, because the way that I formed the belief has literally no relation to the fact of the matter. The mechanism itself just doesn't connect. So similarly, you might want to say that what we intuit to be good and bad connects to what, like, survival and reproduction, basically. We intuit as being good and bad the things that it's good to intuit for the goal of survival and reproduction. So there's lots of circumstances where you'll have these like totally like morally irrelevant things that you'll intuit as being wrong. Like, okay, let's say somebody eats like a piece of fudge. That's fine. Let's say somebody eats a piece of fudge and it's shaped convincingly like a piece of shit. Now it's wrong. And it's like, okay, I think probably like a far more plausible explanation there is that what you felt there was a disgust reaction. Your disgust reaction overcodes your moral intuitions. So if you feel disgusted by something, you're gonna also be more inclined to think, oh, and it's wrong. That's why it's wrong. Something like that. So I don't know. There's like lots of cases like this, basically. I don't know if that makes any sense. Kane, thanks so much for the super chat. Baby-shaped meatloaf, baby back ribs. Or baby-shaped meatloaf, baby backed ribs. True. So true, King. Lab grown. You should run a veganism discussion /live. I don't know. I think that I hate being like a yappy. I hate being like a yappy vegan. Gosh, I should probably overcome that, because I do think that it's like genuinely one of the most pressing moral issues of our time. But I don't know. Garbage man, thanks so much for the super chat. We are habit-forming creatures. Eating baby-shaped meat could have a reinforcement effect, increasing the chance of something terrible in the future. That's true, but I think that you could probably hypothetical all that stuff away, right? Like you could say, well, would it be wrong if you were eating like the meat and you're in like fucking Nagasaki milliseconds before the fucking bomb goes off? And it's like, I don't know. Although I do think that there is like a valid like virtue ethics argument to be made against it, where you say like, okay, you are undermining your eudaimonia by doing this because you're forming like bad associations. Like I think I probably want to run something like that for like why incest is wrong. This is like a too hot take, but incest is another great case where the evolutionary debunking argument seems relevant. Phantom Flux Official, thanks so much for Super Chat. Can I debate with you? Maybe. Feel free to request to join. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for Super Chat. I'm not even British. How dare you? Shaking my damn head. True. Sweet, LOL. Haven't heard that before. Thanks, Ian. Yep, absolutely. I can't pronounce your name. You need to give me like some fucking mechanism to pronounce your name or something. Hers 666. Thanks so much for the Super Chat. Yes, the fudge/shit dichotomy going all the way back to Diogenes. How could I forget? True. Well, I mean, you know, I think like the relevant feature there is that like we have a discussed reaction that maps on to things that our bodies are like to. I got peas. Thanks so much for the Super Chat. Appreciate it. In fact, I think a lot of forms of moral disapproval probably come with a disgust reaction, which is why I think a lot of people probably have trouble differentiating the two. All right, let's go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey Ian, how's it going?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Yep. What religion?
I believe in Jesus.
Yeah. What makes you think that God
Christian.
exists?
I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of your show, and I really appreciate what you do.
Mhm.
And you know, coming from a Christian. You can get edgy at times, but I really feel like you just kind of reflect back on the guests, like what they deserve.
I mean, I try
Like if
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you really like you have to get the answer. Like as much as people want to get on here and talk, like they have to present something. Like isn't God real?
Mhm.
But for the most part, you know, just thank you for what you do
Yeah.
because I appreciate you, and you know, I'm a believer, and I can still consume your content. And I don't know if I have a good argument today because a lot of what I have is anecdotal, and at times I've thought I've had good arguments, but listening to you, you really dive deep into like the philosophical aspect of it. So you know, it's just good to be able to defend your faith and apologetics. So I think any good person, religious or not, could definitely gain something from consuming your content. So thank you for that. Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I hope to. I
Yeah.
hope to be able to provide that for people. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's very kind to hear. But sure. Is there something that makes you think that God exists? Like some sort of evidence that you'd want to discuss?
I don't know. When I watch your show, my mind just goes down crazy pathways. And like I'll have these moments of aha, and then I don't know. Like right now, I was just thinking of so you were discussing like something to the effect of why isn't there evidence, right? Like why isn't there more evidence for a God, right, of the Bible?
Yeah, I think that
And
there's
like so
yeah. Sorry, I will say because I don't think that I've asked that exact question, but I can like lay out like
Yeah.
like an argument just to give chat context, which is that okay, if God is like a goal, God wants a relationship with all of us. Well, in order for me to even be able to make the decision in the first place about whether or not I want the relationship with him, I can't even make a decision until I know that he exists. In the same way, you know, I can't even make a decision about whether or not to form a friendship with someone or date someone if I don't know that that person exists. They need to exist. And I need to know that they exist, and then I can choose to form a relationship with that person. But if God wants a relationship with me, I can't choose God until I know that he exists. So it just seems like he should be giving everyone sufficient evidence to determine that he exists.
Yeah, that makes quite a bit of sense. I guess what I was forming, and it's kind of in its infancy, but I'm trying to take a road, like with this whole, maybe with your style of show or your style of questioning. Like, what if we just devil's advocated it and went like, okay, let's consider a world where God did that, right? Where God
Mhm.
gives plenty of evidence for his existence. Like, let's just consider what a world like that would look like. Like, there's concrete evidence in the Bible that you can literally put under a microscope and prove it. He's revealing himself all the time. So I'm just trying to see, like, what would a world like that be like? I know Hollywood really gives us their pictures of what gods would be like. Like, they're in heaven and they need the worship. They thrive on the worship. They consume it. They need people, like, they need humans to gain power, like to be worshipped, right?
Mhm.
Or without that power, they kind of just fizzle out, I guess. Like that's kind of like the Hollywood representation of a god that I've seen. But I think the God in the Bible is much different. I think he doesn't need. I think he cares about us. He wants the worship, but he doesn't like consume worship, which is more
Yeah.
of like, I feel like a Hollywood aspect of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Um,
course, right? Like I'm totally fine with that, right? Like you're just saying like God is a self-sustaining being. That makes total sense. Obviously God
uh,
doesn't depend on worship for his existence. But it's not that he needs that, but it's rather that one of his goals that he has, one of the things that he's trying to achieve is a relationship with everyone. That's like one of the things that he wants. Is what the
yeah.
message of the Bible seems to be, is that God wants a relationship with you.
I'm just wondering what if let's just hypothetically say, what if there was a world where nobody followed God, like, and then that existence just got erased and he had to start over. And it just, it was never written about. Like, it was just something like, we do know that based on the what's said in parts of the Bible, that angels were the first beings, supposedly, right, that were created before humans, right?
Mhm.
Angels.
Well,
And
I don't know where it
yeah.
says that, but sure, that could be true. That could be totally fine.
Yeah, so it's at some point, I think it just takes a lot of different combing through the Bible and putting it together, but you can put a picture together of, like, at some point it was God and other beings that are not human, right? That are called, there's many different names for them in the Bible, but Satan being one of them, who fell or whatever. Um, I guess,
Mhm.
so why yeah, that's true. Like, why isn't there whole scriptures just on his first beings and like what happened? I mean, we know a little bit about the fall, that's all that we were given, but
So,
that's one thing that I always wondered, like, was there other, you know
well, it just seems like what God could have made, if God wants everyone to know that he exists, God could have just written out in the stars in the sky in every single language, the God of Christianity is true, Christianity is true,
yeah,
Christ is king in every single language with the
or
stars,
like
and then
Trump,
there would just never be a
just put his
question. I,
like
I mean,
Trump,
like,
just sign everything, put his name on everything. I am Yahweh, just put it on every
what
tree,
I
like every
what I will
sign.
say, whenever I see Trump's name on something, there's no question who it's associated with. I never have to wonder like,
Yeah,
wow, does Donald Trump exist? Like
yeah.
I've never met him. I'm quite certain that he exists though.
No, yeah, yeah. Um, as a believer in Christ, I voted Kamala, just to let you know. I hated
Yeah,
Trump.
sure. I mean,
I know that this isn't that type of show,
yeah,
but
that's fine. I mean, yeah, I voted the same
yeah,
way.
um, yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother argument. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I did take like a quite. Hopefully, in the next time I panel up, I can go more of the philosophical route. I'm just not 100% like confident in that right now. I know how deep you dive into like your arguments, uh, and thanks again. And I see, like, on behalf of like a lot of the Christian, like, I guess they get so defensive on here. Like, people come on here and they start screaming at you, and they think it's their job to just take the sword of Jesus and strike you down with it. And
Mhm.
I get it. Christ himself in the Bible, he did judge quite a few people. Uh, but it's like you're not Christ. Like everybody wears like the what would Jesus do and all that, like bracelets and
Sure.
whatnot. I don't think that's as a believer. I just don't think it's your job to go around judging. Period, because it's like you're not like who do you think you are? Like, do you think you're God?
Yeah.
And so I take a huge beef with that, like the way people they use the slurs, on you and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like I don't understand that. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's because they just haven't read their Bible, right? I mean, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find the place in your Bible where it says like hate your fellow man or something like that. It just, I mean, if God's letting like people who are just full of hate into heaven, then it's like kind of it's like a definitely false religion anyway. So, if
Yeah.
I mean, if that sort of God did exist, but yeah, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Otherwise, we can talk again sometime when you have something else.
Oh yeah, I'd love to panel up again. Maybe if I can get some. I've had time. I don't write these things down, man. I've had some great arguments, but next time. Yeah, man. Thanks for popping my cherry. That's the first time.
Okay. Hey,
I never
well,
had the balls to panel up with you.
Hey,
See ya.
yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on up. I appreciate you.
All right, I appreciate you. See ya.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. That guy was pretty nice. I liked him. Allison, thanks so much for the super chat. I wanted my first super chat to go to you. Thank you. Whoa, is this your first super chat? I feel like I've seen you so much. That you must have sent more, or maybe you're just like very active. I don't know. Well, anyway, thanks so much for being active in the community. That's great. Ray, thanks so much for the super chat. Velgar Ray is fine. I'll call you Ray, I guess. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. If you're in that guest request box, you got to be 18 or older. You got to believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I'll also debate you if you're like a deist. If you think that there's a mind that is ultimate to reality, a thing that all other things depend on, and that thing is a mind. Whoa, thanks so much, Rich. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going? Adam for real? Are you there?
Oh, no, this is an accident. I'm sorry.
You're
Yeah, my
goddamn
bad.
right it is. It better not
I
happen
know.
again. Mods, take away this guy's eudaimonia. All right, let's get to the very next guest. Mods, unflourish this guy. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, how old are you?
35. Just got
Sure.
a young voice, yeah.
Yeah, what religion?
I am Muslim.
Yeah, what makes you think that God exists?
So I saw your prompt at the top, God isn't real.
Yeah.
So I have 3 simple reasons for God's existence. So the first one would be that there is order in the universe.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Depends what you mean by order. I agree that there are like some things that are orderly, and then there are like a lot of things that are disorderly.
So when you reflect upon the nature of our world, do you see like from the water cycle, the movement of the earth around the sun? Do you see an order with this?
I don't know what you mean by order, but maybe.
So,
Well, yeah, like certainly there's like a system there, right? Like there are things that repeat in like regular ways, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. I
yeah.
think that there are things that repeat in regular
So-
ways.
So even the physicist Stephen Hawking explains that the overwhelming impression is that one of order. The more we discover about the universe, the more we find it is governed by rational laws, as quoted by Stephen Hawking.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
agree that there are like laws of physics. Yeah.
So how do you explain so since the universe has an order and is governed by the laws of science, should we not question how this order came about?
Yeah, well, I think the laws of physics actually account for how this order came about. The fact that planets form can be attributed to gravity, the fact that like the water cycle takes place, and I mean, I think weather happens on like quite a few planets. So this also has to do with these various like dynamic systems, and I'm sure also seasons play like an important role in it. So yeah, there's like changing in conditions. The conditions, like none of these planets are, I mean, they do exist in a vacuum, but like the surfaces of them aren't, like literal vacuums. And on the ones that are, I mean, typically it's like way less interesting. So for example, the moon, the surface of the moon is a vacuum, or I assume it would be. And there aren't very interesting things that go on there. They're just like, it's kind of long and rambly, but
And
there are just physics-based explanations for all this stuff.
so do you believe this order came about by randomness?
No, it came about via laws of physics, and then the laws of physics derived from like the geometry of space-time and various quantum fields.
No, I get that, but who then set these, or what set these orders?
I don't think that I don't think space-time is caused into existence. I think time must have always existed.
So if you look at, how do I explain it? Like if you look at say the computer screen that you're looking at or the laptop that you're staring at right now, if you came about that randomly, like your laptop, and you take the glass is made from, say, sand that's been heated up and turned into glass and melted, and there's metal within the CPU and
Yeah.
the microchips and everything. If you came across your laptop in the middle of the desert, would you go, oh, this must have just came out by chance?
No.
Was the sun shining and over years and years and years, it's just gave such an amazing system that it's fully functioning and with purpose and structure and order.
No, certainly not. I know where computer monitors come from. They come from the computer monitor factory, but I also know where humans come from. It's not from intelligent designers, it's from evolution. We have tons of evidence for evolution, and it fully explains all of the complexity of the human, and also all of the imperfections of the human can be explained by evolution as well.
But coming across from that particular laptop in the middle of the desert, you wouldn't think, okay, let me go to the factory it's came from and make sure that it's made from that particular factory. You've assumed, you've observed, you've used your reason, your logic to come to the conclusion that it's been designed, it's been created for a purpose.
Correct.
So when it comes to the universe and you see the design and you see the laws and the nature,
I don't see the design.
why don't you? Well, you just admitted that there was laws and
not design.
You don't see design in the universe.
No, not other than the minds that exist within the universe.
And laws.
Yeah, I think that there are laws. If by laws you mean like regular dispositions or things like that, or like abstractions.
So when it comes to a simple laptop, you say there's a factory behind it, there's purpose behind it, but when it comes to the laws of the universe, you say there's no designer, there's no purpose, there's no rational, logical, or there's no power behind that. Who created the universe?
I don't think that the universe was created. I think that it always existed.
It always existed. And what's your evidence for that?
Yeah, for example, I could give you some arguments to think that time can't come into existence. So imagine time comes into existence. Well, there would be a state without time, and then there would be a state with time. That's what it means for something to come into existence. So there'd be like a change there. But all change takes place within time. So that can't be, because then time's coming into existence would require time to already exist. So time can't come into existence because in order for it to come into existence, it would already need to exist, which is impossible, obviously. So therefore, we can conclude that time must have always existed.
So you're saying there's no beginning to the universe?
Yeah.
You're saying it's always existed?
Yeah.
So, according to cosmology, the universe had a beginning some 14 billion years ago, as known as the Big Bang. What's the Big Bang?
The Big Bang, let's ask cosmologists what the Big Bang is. I think this is like a really interesting point. According to the majority of cosmologists, sitting at like 70%, the Big Bang is a theory that says that the universe evolved from a hot, dense state that says nothing about whether there was an absolute beginning of time or not. So the Big Bang says nothing about whether or not there's a beginning of time. All it says is that the universe was in a hot, dense state, and then it rapidly expanded.
So, imagine this Big Bang sort of happened, and the universe came about after that. Am I correct in saying
The
that?
Big Bang is an expansion of space-time, so it would be an expansion of the universe.
Yeah. So imagine you hear a loud bang, and do you not ask yourself, where did that bang come from, or just go, oh yeah, this just happened.
Well,
It just came out of nowhere, but it's fine. Like,
well,
let's get along.
those aren't the only options aren't like an intelligent designer or nothing. It could have also come about via natural processes. And you've raised like such an excellent example. Sometimes earthquakes happen and the ground is like shaking. And, that doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from tectonic plates. Sometimes like one of my posters will fall down because the adhesive loses its stickiness. But, that's not like an intelligent designer removing my poster. It's natural processes. There are crashes that happen genuinely constantly because of laws of nature.
But you've already agreed that there's laws in the nature, and that are governed by certain boundaries and the
Yeah,
closeness. So
how would that contradict anything that I just said?
because now you're saying that it could possibly be that these laws are just random as well.
I didn't say that. I don't know how you got that out of what I said.
But that's where I'm coming through. How can you see? So you're saying it's not, then these laws are not random?
No, these laws are abstractions of the geometry of space-time.
Can you explain that in a little bit more simpler term?
You're asking quite a complex question, so I don't know if I can, but let's take gravity. Gravity is kind of easy to explain. So space-time bends. When you have like things that have mass, it bends, and there becomes like shortest paths between objects. Think of it like a fabric. When you place something on the fabric, when you press down on the fabric, the rest of it will bend around that fabric. So then, if you had like something else that's on like a different part of that fabric, well, it's just gonna like bend towards the thing that's like pushing down, and then it'll just like roll there. Imagine you had like a marble over here on the fabric, and then you press down. Well, it's just gonna roll like that. And the reason for that is because that's the shortest path.
But something must be pressing down on it. It can't be just pressing down out of nowhere. Do you get me?
Yeah, massive objects are pressing down on it.
And where did the massive object come from?
Are you asking like what is it composed of? Like massive objects come about via particles coming together. But if you're asking something like where do the particles come from? Well, those are going to be like certain excitations within various quantum particle fields.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that goes back to where my first point was. When you look at a laptop, you don't say it's made up of particles of sand and hot air,
but it literally is.
But we wouldn't say that though. We wouldn't go, oh, there's a laptop made out of sand and
that's
glass
literally true.
I know.
Why wouldn't we say that?
Someone created it though. Someone designed it.
But it is made of particles, right? Like,
but when it comes to the universe, why are you doing the same? Why are you not saying just as the laptop? Why are you not? Do you not get it? You're copping out when it comes to the universe.
Well, so this would be like a fire argument if we lived in the year like 1700s or in the year 1700. But unfortunately, we know where humans came from. They came from evolution. Saying that God designed them when we have all this evidence for evolution is redundant. We have no reason to do that.
I haven't even got to humans yet, brother. You're saying we're coming
wait,
from
sorry.
monkeys.
What's the thing? That's not what I said. That's also not what evolution said.
What is evolution then?
Yeah, evolution is just the speciation, like the genetic drift over time of various species, typically driven by
So wouldn't you
selection of
see
genes that are
something
good
in
for
between
survival and
then?
reproduction.
Wouldn't you see something in between?
We do.
What?
Between what and what? What are the things that you want to see?
Between that part of evolution that you're talking about and the people now.
Oh, we do. We have lots of
Where?
fossils. We have like human fossils. Like for example, you can Google Homo erectus fossils. You can
No, no,
Google like
no. Where are those people?
Australopithecus
Where are those people
fossils.
now?
Where those the fossils? Where are the fossils now? You can
No,
probably
where are those
visit them in
people?
museums.
Where are those people? Where have they gone?
Which people?
The ones that you're describing.
The entire population of Homo erectus evolved into 3 different species. It evolved into, or it's debated whether or not they're actually species. It evolved into Neanderthal, Denisovan, and Homo sapien. I forget what happened to Denisovan, but they're clearly extinct. And then Neanderthal got bred out of existence by us. It turns out that we were just way better adapted for our environments than they were. We had like a slight edge on them, and they got a lot of people have, especially people who are not from Africa, those people will have some Neanderthal genetics in them.
But you don't see that mix right now. You just see humans, and
You
that's
do.
it. Period.
You do. Like everybody who isn't
No,
like
first you said there's bones,
like
and they're
African
in the museums.
is
Now
going
you're saying
to be like part Neanderthal. Like you're gonna have Neanderthal DNA.
who's got that?
Like a lot of people, I think it might be
name
the
one person. Name one
me.
person.
I would have Neanderthal DNA.
Right. And how do you prove that?
You can take a genetic test.
Have you taken one?
I haven't taken one. Do you want me to
So how
bring up
do you know?
somebody? Wait, sorry. Do you want me to bring up somebody who has?
Yeah.
Is this gonna help?
Yes.
Do you think
Give
like
me their name.
skepticism?
Give me their book.
You want a book? You think writing a
Yeah,
book
give
makes
me.
it
Why
like more
not?
true?
You can't just
Wait,
say something.
I
and
know
expect-
I know that you're like very upset that this didn't go the way that you want it to,
Not
but
at
asking
all.
why a bunch
Not
of
at all,
times or like
sir.
demanding that I prove it, like that's just kind of stupid,
Not
right?
at all.
Like, oh wait, sorry. How do you know that you're not hallucinating right now?
How do you know you're not a brain in a jar?
That's what I'm asking. That's
Seriously?
what I'm asking you. Yeah, how do you know that you're
Wow.
not hallucinating?
457
Wow, look at that. You know, we ended
people
up as 2
as a
brains
brain
and
in a
vats, you know.
jar.
That's
Wow. Is that-
great, right? What a
do you
great
believe that?
strategy. What a great approach to discourse. No, I don't believe that. Of course
So
not.
why are you saying that then?
Yeah, because I'm doing your exact strategy back to you. You see how stupid that is? Like that's like the
No,
dumbest thing I could have
No,
said.
that's not at all.
It,
Why
saying
don't
like you don't
you're
you're basically
you're
telling me
ignoring?
point blank that you don't believe like basic scientific things. Like you don't believe in like
No,
genetic
I'm saying to you,
testing.
it's actually human nature to throughout history, the majority of people actually believed in a creator, a god.
Well, wait,
And
I
it's
just want to
only
know, do you believe in genetic testing? Do you think that it's like real, or
what do you mean?
do you think genetic tests are real? Do you think they like accurately report information?
As accurate as science can be. Science can be accurate and then
Yep.
disprove it like 20 years down the line. Oh,
Yeah.
oopsie, we were wrong.
Well,
And
that's
that's
why
what science is.
that's why science kicks ass, right? Because religion gets things wrong. Like the Quran says like false shit and it can't
Like
correct itself.
give me one
Yeah,
example
it
that
says
the
that the
Quran
earth.
says.
Oh, yeah. It says that sperm comes from between the backbone and the ribs. It comes from like the thorax region, apparently, according to the Quran.
So
It's just
so
obviously
for
wrong.
for that what you've just mentioned, let's go into that.
Yeah, sure.
So let's go bring the quote up.
Sperm from the backbone. Quran. This is 86, 5-7.
Great. Bring it up.
Yep.
Put it up on the screen so the 461 people can see what you're reading.
Okay. Let people then consider what they were created from. They were created from a spurting fluid stemming from between the backbone and the rib cage.
Perfect. Now go on to the top line that you just read there.
Which one? This one?
Let people consider what they were created from. People. It's not the fluid they're talking about. It's talking about the people.
But
are you
what it's
created
talking about
from?
what they were created from. That's what it's designating. It's saying they
Bring
were created from a spurting fluid.
No, but go back to
Yeah.
where you need to bring up the actual Quran. Put it on from Quran.com. Get the proper translation, and you know the actual Quran Explorer.
Okay. So not
put up-
Quran.com.
I'm not even sure. It's the other one. It's not even that one. Someone else has probably done something with that.
You want 86, 5-7?
and it's the people, not actually the sperm it's talking about. The sperm is
Okay,
created from
86, 5 through 7. You want from what website?
Quran Explorer.
Quran Explorer. Okay, what we got? 86, 5 through 7, maybe.
Yeah, go for it. Just from where you're reading, give the
I don't.
actual.
How do I navigate this? Let me. Maybe you can
and
tell me.
just to let you know, just to
Maybe
let
you
you
can
know,
tell me where to
the
go.
word sperm isn't even actually in it. So
We can,
the
if you want to,
Arabic word-
if you want to defer to like the Hadith, we could defer to the Hadith.
the Hadith doesn't talk about
Or
that.
I'm sorry, not the Hadith, the Tafsir. We could get the interpretation, the proper interpretation of the
get the
Tafsir.
tafsir up. That's a good point.
Sure,
Look
wait,
that
but
up.
okay, I'm on Quran Explorer. Where the heck should I go? I don't know how to navigate this.
So does the whole
Like,
Quran not
like this
come up?
one? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure. What do we got?
You need to get the
It's
English.
86, I think.
So if you actually look at what the Muslim scholars say about that verse, it's interesting that that's one of the verses
How
that
do I
the
get
atheists
English?
like to bring up, is because they think this is like a catching point. So what way you talk about this verse, you can say between the backbone and the rib is the way we're at the
Where the
position of a
fuck is
baby.
English? Oh, okay, sure. What do we got?
Let man then observe of what he has come from,
Yeah.
the loins of a man and the pelvic arch. So it doesn't mention actual sperm, actually what you're saying. So it's spurting fluid or seminal fluid, you can call it, but it doesn't mention the word sperm. So people
It
think
says
this
seminal
whole,
fluid.
people think that this whole verse is about sperm. It's not.
It says seminal fluid. What are you talking about?
But this verse isn't about sperm. It's about
it's about seminal.
man.
It says seminal fluid.
Brother, you're not
You're
getting it. It
being
says
delusional. It
let-
literally says seminal fluid.
But you need to understand is the verse is talking about man.
It's talking
Let-
about what man came from, seminal
Yeah.
fluid. It's talking about sperm.
What about sperm? What do you want to say about
Saying
sperm?
that it comes from the backbone and the rib cage.
It doesn't say sperm came out of the backbone and the rib cage. It
It
says,
says
let
seminal
man.
fluid comes from the backbone
You're
and the
missing
rib
the
cage.
point in front of it. You're missing the point before it. Let man know what he was created from.
Yeah, seminal fluid coming from between the backbone and the rib
So
cage.
let man know what he was created
Okay.
from. Fluid between the ribs and the man coming out the rib and the backbone.
But that's not where sperm is. That's not where seminal fluid is.
Where is seminal fluid? You tell me.
It comes from the prostate.
It doesn't come from the prostate. It comes above the prostate,
Where? From where? Okay.
between the ribs and the backbone.
Fuck. Oh, that's so funny. What organ?
It's not in an organ. It's got its own. It's above the.
It's just fucking there, hanging out in the bloodstream.
Why don't you check? Bring up the human body and check.
Yeah,
Is it between the
just
ribs and the
Google
backbone?
where does sperm come from? Sperm cells are produced in the testicles, and mature in the epididymis, which is coiled and located in the back of each testicle.
No.
During
where is
ejaculation, the
act-
sperm
where-
travels
where
through
is the
the vas
seminal-
deferens and mix with fluids from the prostate glands and seminal vesicles to create semen.
Where's the seminal vesicles? Where's that held?
The seminal vesicles aren't going to help you.
Yeah. Bring up the image then of the human body.
Small curved. Oh, okay.
No, the actual human body
Well, I don't want to show a dick, but it looks to be,
between the ribs and the backbone. Yeah.
No, it looks to be kind of like right by that. I guess we could
Is
look.
it above? See if you.
Where is the seminal vesicles?
Yeah.
Behind the bladder.
Yeah. Where's the bladder?
It's like.
If you feel it, where's your stomach?
It's
Yeah.
like right here.
Yeah,
It's like in
and
like this
where
region,
so where are your ribs? Where are your ribs?
like up here.
Yeah, so is that not between your ribs and your backbone?
Fuck no, it's like way lower. What are you
Oh,
talking
please.
about?
So between just means between. If I say to you, pick a letter between the alphabet between A and Z, can you not pick anywhere in between?
Yeah, you can, but you can't pick like
So why
two,
you say
right?
why you say
You have to
why
you have
you
to
say
pick
you
something that's in the range, right? It needs to
no
be like
you
in the
can't say
thorax.
yeah you can't say why did you pick B or why did you pick the letter C? But it's still
It's
in between.
yeah.
It's between
Wait,
A and
do you
Z.
think that like down here? Do you think this is like between the backbone and the ribs?
Where is your backbone? How far does your backbone go down from the
Where does
top
my
to your
how far do my ribs go down? Is the real
Hey,
No,
question.
your ribs
Can
and your
you-
backbone.
Can you do something? Just
Oh, I'm
pull up
away.
Google again.
Yeah, you want me to pull up what?
Google again, and I'm gonna tell you what to write.
Yeah.
Cadaver, lateral view, pelvic cavity.
Lateral view. Pelvic.
M's the ex-Muslim.
Yes.
Salam Habibi.
Wait one sec. Let me make sure that it's okay. Do you want the real cadaver?
Yes.
You want the real one? Oh, okay. Wait, that one's female, I think.
You literally touched your ribs and your backbone goes right down to your pelvis. Do you
But
realize that?
wait, sorry.
And-
Do my ribs? Do your ribs? Maybe you have crazy ass ribs. Do your ribs come down to like here? Because my
No,
bladder is like right
that's-
around
That's
here.
where your backbone goes down to.
But
The problem, Ian, is that when it says ribs, the word is not referring to all ribs. It is referring to the upper ribs.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, your rib and your backbone goes right down to your pelvis. So that is a perfect
find it?
positioning.
Can I have a picture?
Wait, sorry.
That's
I'm trying to
perfect
find.
minutes away from
positioning.
home.
So whatever you if you
Wait.
want to use seminal fluid, use it. If you want to use a baby is between your ribs and your
Fuck.
backbone. Brother, bring it
Baby
on.
is not
It's
between
the
your
same
ribs
thing.
and your backbone. No.
So you want
It
to
is
talk
not,
about
no.
seminal fluid? You want to talk about
It
a
is
baby?
not,
You
no.
want to talk about that? Bring it both ways.
Again,
Both of them is the same
the
thing.
baby. The baby is not between your backbone and your ribs.
Have you had a baby? Have you had a baby before?
No, but
Then-
I've actually learned this.
Oh, have you now? So you not ever feel the baby
yes.
kick your ribs? Have you not ever feel the baby kick your
Wait,
rib?
is
A baby kicking your ribs does not mean it is between your backbone and your ribs.
Where
The
is it
force is
between them?
transmitted
Your
through the amniotic
backbone
sac
goes down
to the
right
ribs.
to your pelvis.
wait,
Your backbone
Did you
goes
find a
from
picture?
your neck.
wait, is this one
Your
sufficient?
backbone goes from your neck right down to your pelvis.
This is good enough. Yes, it's more accurate. So you see the little sac on top of the prostate.
Bring
That would be the seminal
whatever,
vesicle.
whatever way you bring it, you
Which one's
know
the
that
fucking?
you can't get rid of this one.
Yeah.
It would be
There it
below
is.
the level. It's
There it
below the
is.
level
Look
of
at
the
that.
Bring
backbone.
everything up. You want to bring the seminal fluid, that's between your ribs and your backbone. You want to bring the baby, that's between your ribs and your backbone.
Wait,
It
wait,
is
do
bring
we,
it both
wait,
ways.
are we seeing seminal vesicles? Do you see that, guest?
It is below the
bring it up.
backbone.
475 people are watching. You just realized you just made a fool of yourself.
You think?
Yeah.
You think this diagram that like eviscerates you is embarrassing for me?
So do you not see your backbone goes right down to your pelvis?
Do you
Can
see
not
the
feel your
seminal
back-
vesicle? It's like,
Do you feel your backbone?
you know,
and
it's
do
like
you
right
feel
it's like
your
right
rib?
above the dick. Apparently it's like apparently like right above the dick.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's above
So-
your. It's above your prostate gland.
Which where is that? You can literally feel it with a finger.
Yeah. So where is your ribs?
So it's
and
a-
where is your backbone?
I can. Ian, by the way, just give me.
Wait, would you
3
say-
minutes and
would you
I'll
say-
join
You
back
can
up.
bring. You can bring
I'll join
whatever
back
up.
up in 3 minutes.
Bring,
Yeah, that's
bring
fine.
whatever you want up.
Wait, I just
You
want to know, would you say like the dick is between the backbone and the ribs?
No, because that goes past your pelvis.
Holy shit. Okay, so I mean, the seminal vesicles is like genuinely like a millimeter
stand
above.
Up and show us. Stand up and show us.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be like right here-ish. This is not between the
No,
backbone
up.
and the ribs.
No, go up, brother.
No, apparently
not-
it's
right-
apparently it's like
it's
like
right-
here. So it's like
No, It's right up at the side, so it's on one of the sides.
I don't know if that's true. I'm not convinced that it's like right
So
on the side.
you only
You know,
if
the
you're not
diagram kind of
convinced-
makes it
if
look
you're
like
not
it's
convinced-
you know right
if-
there. You know, maybe it is. Who knows? But
Yeah.
you know, that's if the dick isn't between the backbone and the ribs. I think you're going to be hard pressed to make the case that the seminal
Then
vesicles
you
are
tell me
between
where
the
does your
backbone
back
and the
where
ribs.
does your backbone end?
The
Where does your
backbone
back-
ends like pretty far down. I think.
Yeah, so
If you don't think that the dick is included in the back, like in the range of the backbone, I'm pretty sure it would be.
but
So I think
I'm
think that if you want to make this argument, I think you'd have to say that the dick is
okay.
included
You can
as
just make
between
that
the
argument
backbone
then.
and
You
the
can
ribs.
say that then. You say
Okay,
that then.
well that's like
So what's
obviously
your point?
silly
So-
to say that you think the dick is between the backbone and the ribs.
So what
right?
my
Like what's
point
the
is,
point of mentioning the ribs at
my-
all? If
No,
I
but-
mean the ribs certainly don't stem that far down.
because it can be talking about the seminal fluid or the baby. It can be talking about both.
It's talking about the seminal fluid.
But but it's saying let man think. Where did he come from?
Yeah.
Where did he?
and
So
then it says
man,
the
why would
seminal
man
fluid.
think about? No, so it's talking about the Quran is talking to the man. He's saying, remember where you came from. As a
Yeah.
baby, starting from the seminal fluid, coming out as a baby. So you can take
Wait,
it
are
either
you
way.
saying that? Are you saying that the vagina is between the backbone and the ribs?
No, just see if you look at what actual Muslim scholars and how they actually come about this verse. This is very easily explained. I'm not a scholar, but I've obviously searched this up properly as well. So you can bring that verse up. You've used this going on anti-Muslim websites and be like, "Oh, this is a perfect
What's the
verse to go."
anti-Muslim website that I went
The
on?
one that you've got this verse from.
You think I farmed this verse from somewhere?
Okay.
You don't think I could have found this
So-
just by reading the Quran?
So now that you've brought that verse up and we've explained it as far as we can go with it, you
Sure.
can
Wait.
either
So
be-
now that wait. Okay, but we can't just move past this. You know, it says that sperm comes between the backbone and the ribs.
It doesn't say. There we go again. Sperm. Let man know where he came from. Let man know where he came from.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you keep on
Yeah.
saying like let man know where he came from. You're
You
putting
say
like a lot of
sperm if you
emphasis on that. What does that mean? Like what? It's not even clear why you're singling that out.
Okay.
So, Ian, can you go to the verse on Quran X commentaries?
She wants Quran Explorer.
Okay. Go for
Quran Explorer. Does it have tafsir?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay, pull up the tafsir of Ibn Kathir on it.
Wait, do we have
Why
dark
is
mode?
Ems is such an anti-Muslim. He used to be a Muslim. Do you know that? Ems used to be a devout Muslim. His
Oh
parents
no,
are
I
Muslim.
thought he just like spoke fluent native Arabic.
No, he's
Oh,
a
he's
proper-
ex-Muslim. Oh, that
he's
really
one of
changes
those.
my outlook.
Oh, I know. He's got all the he's very, very clever.
Where the fuck is the tafsir on this? This shit sucks.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to cut
I'll
to the
just go to
chase.
I'll just go to Quran X.
So the word tara'ib, which is translated as ribs, in Arabic it means the upper ribs, specifically what is between the breasts and what is the resting place of a necklace. I'm pretty sure your baby is
Why
not
is
kicking
Ems,
your
I think
the resting
you've got
place of a
a
necklace.
reading problem, mate, brother.
I do, yes, I do.
I hope it gets better soon because it's
It can't because it's a
There's
because it's
no
a bone
way you
deformity.
think this is the winning move.
Uh-huh.
Wow. You know, you just like fried me on the substance of this debate. You have a disability.
No, I didn't. I didn't mean it in a
What
bad
a
way.
what a crazy
not a
what a
it's not
crazy fucking
disability.
personal attack at a time like this.
It's not. Me and Ems go way back. It's okay. He doesn't mind.
We spoke twice.
He doesn't mind.
Okay.
He made me a better Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
So what's your take
Again,
on that? The
again,
actual
again.
natural position is to believe in a god. Why do you
wait,
go
why are
with
we
she
Shakespeare?
was
pivoting? Why the
winning.
fuck are we running?
Oh, I thought we were done with this. Do you
No,
still
of
want
course
to
We were.
not.
This is a wee bit like, yeah, why are we still talking? Right, on you
So
go. Let's go.
okay, so I got this. Where should I go in Quran X?
verse just go to verse number
Oh, I
7.
see. 7, sure. 5 tafsirs. Which one do you want?
Now go to the control F
Yep.
and then Abbas.
Uh,
ABBAS.
The illuminating, it is illuminating and burns. But okay, wait,
Okay,
there's like a couple of them.
how
Okay,
about
wait. So we got
necklace?
this one,
The weird
issued
necklace.
from between the loins of a man and the ribs of the woman. This one.
Control F necklace.
Yeah, whatever you
Necklace.
take, it still works. If you want to take the
necklace
sperm,
doesn't
if
show
you want
up.
to take the
Maybe
baby, it still works.
A resting place.
resting, maybe place.
So it doesn't have it on this specific.
Yeah, it doesn't have it.
Translation.
So Ems has
No,
got
no,
his own.
It
Ems
has
has
it.
got his own
It has
website.
it. It has it in Arabic again. So the translations are like summarizing the tafsir. They don't have the full tafsir.
No, they don't.
They do, yes. They do summarize it. You can find it on the actual tafsir. He quotes Ibn Abbas and Ukruma. He says that they say that Taraib means the upper ribs. Again, let me finish. Again, let me
Or
finish.
does everyone want to
Let
go
me
and do
finish.
your own?
Again. So, as I said, it is referencing the upper ribs, number one. Number two, the baby is not between your backbone and your ribs.
Where is the baby
Number-
then?
The
And
baby is in
and
your, again, where do you think the baby grows?
Where do you think
Your-
the baby grows? Where else is it going to
In
grow?
the uterus.
So where
And
is the uterus?
Where is the uterus?
Where you
is
tell
it?
me?
It's in the pelvis.
So where
And
is
then
the
it
pelvis?
expands. The pelvis, where you don't know where your pelvis is.
So didn't Ian just agree that the backbone goes right past your pelvis?
It can't go past the pelvis because it connects to the pelvis.
The
No, the
fucking
back-
ribs certainly don't.
No, the rib is the top half. It's like A to Z.
Damn.
Between
This-
it's like you're
you need
saying
to spend
between
more
A
time
and
doing
Z,
the
but
Macarena. You'd know where your pelvis was if you did.
No, if you're saying something is between letters A and Z, why have you got an issue if it's at letter B?
Because it's the number 2. You know, it's not between A and Z because it's the number 2,
It
right?
didn't say letter M or directly in the middle, did it?
Okay, wait. If it was like
I
directly in
think
the
she needs
middle,
to.
right? So let's say if the uterus or like the place where sperm is stored was like up here-ish, then damn, that would be a compelling argument, you
But
know.
it's not saying that though. It's saying between A and Z. It's between A and Z.
It's not. It's simply not in the range.
So your backbone goes up right to the
Where
your
do
head.
where do your ribs go?
You've already felt your ribs. Your ribs are only between your chest area.
Yeah, exactly, right? Do your ribs stretch down to the pelvis?
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm actually meaning. So your rib is your Z.
Do the
your
ribs go
pelvis-
down?
I think you're missing the point.
I just
brother.
want to know, do the ribs go down to the pelvis?
Obviously not. What are you talking?
Yeah,
the
exactly. So it's
the
not between the
backbone
backbone and the
goes-
ribs.
How far does your backbone go down?
So, football, since you had a child before, can you tell me where the child grows in this picture?
Let man know where he came from.
Again, where does the child grow in this picture?
In your stomach.
In the stomach. So here. Like,
Tasty child.
Right here.
Oh, what? Wherever you put it, it's still between the ribs and the backbone.
Where does the child grow?
In the middle somewhere, between your
In the
ribs
middle,
and the
so like
backbone.
here, like in the
Yeah,
small intestine
yeah,
and the large
perfect,
intestine. So with
perfect.
the feces,
Perfect
it grows with the
position.
feces. So it doesn't grow in the uterus.
Wherever you want to put it.
Just put it wherever you want.
Now you tell me where's the ribs?
The ribs are not even in this picture from how high up they are.
So your ribs don't go. No, so you'll be okay. Put your ribs up to the mark a line where your ribs are.
They would be right up there.
Okay, perfect. Now mark a line where your backbone and mark it vertically. Vertically.
Vertically? What do you mean vertically?
Mark a line vertically. How far your backbone goes.
Right there. It ends
No,
right there.
do you know what a vertical line looks like? Yes, perfect. Now, is the baby between the rib where you marked and the backbone?
Nope. If you connect a line between here
Oh,
and there,
please,
the baby grows right there.
please. Don't even start with me.
Oof.
Don't even start.
That's a devastating point.
There's a
Right.
reason we apply fundic pressure
That's you.
below the
Okay.
ribs to push the baby down. Because
Okay.
it's
we're
not between
done.
the ribs.
I think you guys are done. I think you just marked it right.
Are we
And
done
now-
or are you done?
No, I think you just marked it and I showed you, and now you're like, but wait, but it's
Marked
not
what?
that.
How would you know? I could have marked the sigmoid colon, and you wouldn't know.
If you can feel your rib and feel the back of your bone, tell your pelvic bone, can you not feel it? Can you not feel? Can you not feel the backbone?
What?
Feel the backbone. What?
Can you
Which
feel your
part?
backbone?
Which part?
Any part, or you can go from the head.
Yes, you can feel parts of your backbone. Yes.
Right. And now go from the rib to the backbone. Can you not feel?
What?
What the fuck are you saying?
Are you asking like can I do like
Yeah, there's your rib. There's
that?
your rib.
Like hit like one of these?
Yeah, that's your rib and that's your backbone. And the baby is in between there.
No, it is
if
not.
you want to use
That is
seminal
stupid.
fluid,
That is idiotic.
you
That
can
is
say
simply
whatever.
just stupid.
Go and
Because
look what the Muslim scholars say about that.
The
That's
Muslim scholars do not even say that. The Muslim scholars do not even say that. Number one, number two.
They say
Number two
whatever
again.
way you want to
Number
bring
two
it.
again.
If you want to say it's a baby, if you want to say it's a
They
seminal
don't say
fluid,
that.
it's still between the ribs
Name
and the
me,
backbone.
name me the scholars. Go ahead. Name me the scholars.
So you've got Muhammad. You go. Yes. There you go. Thank you.
You
very
couldn't
much.
even name like Ibn Abbas or something?
Oh, you know scholars now. Well done.
I know the one dude, right? Like I know the fucking I don't even know what the equivalent would be. Right.
She pulled like a John Doe.
A John Doe, exactly. So basically,
Wait, I thought she was talking
basically from
about
that
the
image
Prophet
that
Muhammad.
basically
He's not a
from
scholar.
that. Basically, from that image that Ems just drew, that was a
I
perfect
didn't draw
example.
it.
So you're just taking it off.
It's a picture.
So you've just drawn the line. Perfect example.
Yeah, the line does not prove your point. The line just
Yes,
shows
it
you're an
does.
idiot.
It proves exactly
No, it
my
doesn't.
point. It proves exactly the
doesn't.
seminal fluid is still in between.
You thought the baby
seminal
grows in the
fluid,
stomach.
the seminal fluid is in
And then
between,
you thought
and the
it grows
baby
with the
grows
feces.
in between.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Simply doesn't.
So go back to your image. Then go back to your image. Show me.
Oh gosh, you don't want the image again. The image didn't go very well for you last time, I can't lie.
So why do you go against human nature when it comes to believing in God?
Oh my. There's no
So
way.
draw the rib. Draw the
The
rib.
ribs are not even in the picture. That is
Yeah,
how
that's
far
it.
out
Just
they
draw
are.
just draw the line.
Right there.
I'm not
right
asking you.
Right there. And then the
Right.
tarab would be right here.
What?
And
Now
The
draw
top
the
would be
line.
right
Draw the horizontal line for the backbone.
horizontal.
Sorry, vertical.
Uh-huh. There you go.
There you go.
Uh-huh. Now draw a line to the ribs. The baby
And it's-
grows right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Brutal.
Perfect example.
It is not in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, exactly right. So the Quran is saying that we're going to find it between A and Z, and we find it
Yeah.
at 2.
What do you mean two?
The number 2,
No.
the between the
If you
backbone and the
find it-
ribs is A to Z. They're saying it's going to be between A and Z, and then we find
Yeah.
it at 2.
No, A and Z, and you find it at B. Is you got an issue with that?
You don't find it at B. It's completely
wh-
disconnected. The two regions
No,
are completely
you have an
disconnected.
issue
I don't know if
it's-
you saw
you have an
that.
issue-
I don't know if you're like pretending
So
that
you're
like
saying
you
it's-
can't
it wasn't
see,
even in
but
between?
no,
You're
it,
saying
it
it's
was
not
it
even
was
in
like
between?
pretty blatant. Frankly, it's the lines simply do not intersect. Right?
Okay.
You want? Oop.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there. Oh, that's a lovely picture of the
It
backbone.
is, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, right down.
Now, how-
right.
how-
Let's
can you tell
mark
me-
right
can
where
you
the
tell me-
backbone goes. Where's the
Can you tell me
backbone?
where the ribs are? Go ahead.
So right below the chest.
It's kind of crazy how it like perfectly doesn't intersect with it. Right? It's on like the exact region where it isn't. It like borders the region where it is,
Feel
and
your
it's on the
ribs.
exact place where it isn't. That's kind of crazy.
Feel your rib. Feel your rib. Tell me where it is. Now you mark the line and don't be biased.
Which rib?
Where your rib ends or starts. Mark both
Which
of them.
rib?
Then mark
Both of them.
Yeah,
You think
mark
there's two ribs?
That's so funny.
where it starts and ends. Start. And
How many
end.
ribs do you think there are?
Just
At
mark
least
your line.
2.
Why? I'm not a biologist here. I'm not a human
I can
biologist.
tell.
Just feel it with your feel it.
Which ones?
Whatever one you want to feel.
Oh,
Place
sure,
mark
them,
it.
place them
Uh,
wherever.
Ian, you see your collarbone.
Yeah.
Just go one space below and just feel
Like
those
here?
ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, mark that as the top
Well,
one.
I
and
for
mark
sure
the
don't
bottom.
think that babies grow between the fucking like right here.
Okay.
I
Right, that's
that
your
doesn't
rib.
seem
Where else?
true.
Where else are your ribs? Stand up.
Yeah, yeah.
Ian,
I mean,
mark-
I don't think the fucking baby is like right here.
Yeah, good. Well done. Good. Very good.
I just
think
need to
you're
make sure
right.
that you understand that
I
too.
think you're right.
Because
Ian.
you're kind of
Very clever.
arguing. I could have sworn that you just argued that they were. That it's
No.
like it's true of
Why
like
don't you
any
already
rib.
felt when I said to you stand up and feel your ribs? Did you feel there? No, you felt right
You
at
want
the
me
bottom,
to
didn't
this?
you?
Again,
Is that where you felt before?
at the are the upper ribs.
Okay, and now feel the lower ribs.
Why? The taraib are the upper ribs.
Why? So you're just adjusting it to your own.
I'm not adjusting
your-
it. That is literally
you're
the language.
adjusting it to your
That is
own
the language.
narrative. Clearly,
That is the
you
language. It is simply the
Clearly you
language.
are.
Number one, it is the
So
language, and
why
even
do-
if I
why
grant
are
it to you,
we-
can you shut the
so
fuck up,
you
please?
can keep
Again,
bringing this up if you want.
football. Listen. Again, taraib, the word itself means the upper ribs. But even granting it to you that it means all the ribs, you'd
Yeah.
still be shown as an idiot.
Show Ian, show your lower ribs.
Which ones?
Are you this? I feel like I've
Define
been.
lower ribs.
Why not only the upper ribs?
feel
Why
like
are you
I'm-
trying to adjust? You're
Hmm.
trying to adjust it to your own narrative. Okay.
I'm starting to see a
so,
pattern.
Ian, are you actually this sad? Why are you on TikTok? What are you bringing us to? What is atheism bringing us to?
I think I'm starting to.
What have you got? What have you got that religious people don't have?
Mm,
What you've got all I don't know.
True beliefs.
Maybe we're a brain in
I
a
got-
jar.
I got some
Maybe
true
we
beliefs.
have boundaries,
No,
maybe
that's
we
that was your
don't.
standard
Yeah.
of evidence.
Ian, by the way, the last time I spoke to her, she was claiming that she read Arabic. I pulled up the simplest passage ever.
Well, I'm sorry if
She
I'm
wasn't
not
able to.
fluent in
She's-
Arabic.
you
I'm
said,
Scottish.
sure, but you said that you
I'm
were.
not.
Wait, you're
I'm
Scottish? I didn't
You said you
know.
were.
Yeah, I'm not
didn't tell
fluent in Arabic. He was born in the desert. What do you want me to do?
I disavow that one. I don't think you should be saying that. That's kind of weird.
Hey, I'm proud of the desert. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he was born in the desert.
There's some. I think people in Western countries, there's a lot of. It's on the line. It's on the line.
So why what do you bring to us?
Oh, this
What
is
does
brutal,
Ian
dude.
bring?
Apparently, you can also
Ian.
translate this word as breastbone. That's so fucked.
Ian, what do you bring? What does atheism bring to us?
Ibn Abbas says
Nothing
that,
but
he says that
depression.
it is also what is
Nothing
between
but
the
I
breasts.
don't know. We could be a brain in a jar.
Oh, that's not what I believe.
I don't know what
That's not the
happens
thing that
when
I
we
believe.
die. I don't know where
That's
this
not.
God
Oh,
is.
sorry. Wait,
Maybe
I do know. You
What?
stop existing like before
what
because
existing
consciousness
before what?
reduces to the brain.
Right, and then
You stop existing. There's no
so
longer
what happens,
an
what happens
experience.
to people like Mustache Man? What happens to them that got
Yeah,
away
he
with?
stops
What happens?
existing.
So what happens? Where is the
What
fairness
happens to
in that?
Mustache Man when he says the Shahada right before dying? What then?
He goes to
What's your
heaven.
proof of that?
I
He
just want to
goes to
know
heaven.
if he said the
What's your
Shahada,
proof of that?
what would happen?
What? But he will still have to. The God is just. He would still have to pay
No.
for what he did.
No.
No,
If
no,
as soon
no,
as you
no,
join,
yes, yes.
again, when you join Islam, all of your previous sins are wiped.
No, but the
Yes.
sins that you've done against people, those are not white.
No. Any
Yes,
sins you've
it
done are
is.
wiped.
Don't
Any
tell
sins you've done
lies,
are wiped.
Mems. Ems, don't tell lies.
Really?
If you've
Jamil,
done
Jamil,
something
wait.
wrong,
Do you remember?
If
Do
you've
you know
done
who
something
Hamza is?
wrong-
Do you know who Hamza is?
Hamza who?
You don't know Hamza.
Hamza the Sahaba?
Like the Hamza, the multiple people?
Pardon?
Like, what do you mean Hamza the Sahaba?
Sahaba as in
You know
a
what the word means?
companion? A companion of the Prophet?
Sahaba is companions, but sure. Hamza, the line of God.
Hamza as in Hunza.
Hamza, the line of God.
I don't know what you're meaning. What's your point?
Do you know who he is?
No, I don't know who you're meaning.
You don't know the uncle of the Prophet.
The uncle of the Prophet, Abu Lahab.
You think he has one uncle?
He had three uncles or four.
Who are they? What happened to Hamza?
I don't know what happened to Hamza. You tell me.
Hamza
Yeah,
D is
he was
nuts.
killed.
What?
He was
What?
killed, and the guy who joined Islam, the Prophet,
Huh?
the guy who killed him joined Islam, and the Prophet just accepted him with no retribution.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying, brother.
Because you don't know anything about Islam, so
So you're just making stuff up. What happens to Mustache Man? Tell me that. But tell me
she's
about
stupid.
that.
Is
What
haggis
happens to
halal? That's a good question.
Is what?
No, it's
Haggis?
not.
What is haggis?
Oh
It's sheep's
no,
stomach.
that's so
It's sheep's.
sad.
Unless you can
Damn.
unless you can get it done by yeah, you could.
If you could change your religion, would you?
So as I was saying, Ian, what do you bring to TikTok?
Good arguments against God's existence.
But why?
Arguments
Why?
that are rooted in literature.
We're having a steak here. Why do we want to come to your table? What do you offer? We're coming to your table. I'm having a
Truth.
steak. I'm having
have
a 3-course
delusion.
meal.
Yeah.
And then I come to Ian's table and I say, Ian, what are we
Wait,
having for
can
dinner?
I-
Ian goes, I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Oh,
having.
sorry, except I gave you lots of answers. If you want to hear I don't know, you should put any piece of Arabic in front of you.
You've got nothing to offer us. You have nothing but I don't know.
football.
You
Wait,
can be a
sorry,
brain
I
and
don't
a
think
jar.
I think I said quite
Yes,
I think I explained quite a bit. What did I say? I don't know to?
You said nothing. You
Wait,
let
what
me
did I
could be a
wait?
brain-
What's
you
one
literally
thing?
said-
Wait, what's one thing that I said I don't know to?
You said we could be a brain and a
Justin,
jar.
I didn't say
mean,
that. I
Ian,
said that under your standard of evidence that would follow. That's not what I
Actually,
believe.
I think the problem here is that you only
You said we
understand
could be
gibberish.
monkeys.
I
So
didn't
try
say
that.
that. You're delusional.
You said we could be like a mix between a Homo sapien and a Homo whatever.
And a Neanderthal, that's literally true. That is literally true.
Is that fact?
Yeah, that is
Are
a
you
fact.
sure
You
about
can
that?
genuinely look that up.
Where from?
Wait, sorry. If you don't mind me asking, what's your ancestry?
Where we're Indians.
Like from India?
So,
Yeah, India.
Okay, I think that there's still going to be Neanderthal DNA, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was
Don't-
everyone but
don't-
Africans.
Don't be, Ian, don't be racist.
That's not racist. That's true. In fact,
Yes.
Europeans have the most Neanderthal DNA.
So where does it say that?
You can Google that. It's a fact.
Yeah. If that's fact, then it should be easy to find.
Do you want me to find a source?
Why are you just making stuff up as you go along?
What populations have Neanderthal DNA? Yeah. Here you go. This comes from well, I guess all these sources kind of kick ass. So
And is this fact?
yeah, do you want the one from like Princeton or modern humans with ancestry outside of sub-Saharan Africa carry about 1% to 2% Neanderthal DNA?
Oh wow, and you believe that? So you
Do you
believe that they're
not?
just-
You think that Princeton
you
is
believe
just
a guy.
lying?
Why don't you? Why can't we just
You think Princeton's
come?
just
Why
fucking
can't God just
printing
create us and that's
lies?
it? Why do we have to come from somewhere or someone else? Why do we have to come from monkeys?
We
football,
didn't.
why do you
You're
why do you
confused.
think monkeys come from humans?
Say that again.
Why do you think monkeys come from humans?
I didn't say that. That's
The
what
Quran
Ian
says
said. That's
The
what Ian
Quran
said.
says that. The Quran
No,
says
that's
that.
what Ian said.
The Quran says that.
No,
Verbatim.
the Quran says
Yes.
Allah
Have you not?
created
Wait.
people.
Football.
Allah said,
Have you not
"Kun-"
read the second chapter of the
No,
Quran?
did you not read the
You're
chapter?
not even
Kun
two chapters in.
fayakun?
Oh, that's
Kun fayakun.
There is no chapter called Kun Fayakun.
No, did you not read the verse Kun fayakun?
Yes.
Oh,
But I am
Ems, you
I'm
went
asking you,
quiet
or
there
did you
for
not
a
even
second,
read
didn't you, Ems?
again?
You went
Again.
quiet for a second,
Uh-huh.
didn't you? You know what that means. You know what Kun fayakun
You know, you went
means.
silent for a second.
The
You know what
fuck?
that means, Ems? You lost the entire debate. You
Ems,
just
Ems,
conceded.
that
I blew you
touched
the fuck
Em's
out.
heart. That Kun fayakun
That
touched
means that
Em's
all the
heart. He
things that I
knows
said
that.
are true, and all the things that you said are
I
false.
need to
Ian.
go, but by the way, I'm
Ian,
enjoying.
you
I'm
think, by the
enjoying
way,
this
Ian, you would
conversation.
think,
I'm enjoying
Yeah.
you
this
think that
conversation.
she
But
said something
it is
very devastating,
Maghrib.
right?
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
Maghrib in Scotland. I have to go and pray to the one God, the true God.
Mm.
So, guys,
You can't
I'm
even
sorry to
read
leave
Arabic,
you.
so
I could sit
how are you
here
praying?
all night. I could sit here all night, but I actually have a life and I
I'm
have
sure.
actually a purpose.
I'm
and
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
a
so do
slave
we.
to God. I'm going to go and bow down to the
Only your
ground
husband.
to the one that created me.
By the
And
way,
also
Ian,
your
the Prophet
husband.
said, that
Wha-
if I were to order somebody
My,
to
my husband's
prostrate
happy.
to
Why
somebody,
you got an issue with that?
Well, but
Prophet
you're
said that
you're
if-
like
if-
obedient. You're bound to be obedient towards your husband.
Why you go? My
Yes.
husband's happy. Why you got an issue?
Your husband, if your husband like beat the shit out of you, like it says
Why-
he can do in the Quran, would that be fine?
Beat with what? Are you serious?
Yeah, he can beat the fuck out of you. It says in the
If he
And,
Quran.
beats you like
and
a
did
puppet.
Muhammad ever beat anyone?
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes,
please,
yes,
Ems, don't
yes,
even
yes.
Ems, don't even start.
He even beat a child.
Oh, but Ems, don't even start. He was the most
Violent person, yes.
kind person that could ever come across.
He was so kind. He cursed a child to not grow old. Yes,
So would you not curse the mustache man not to grow?
a child,
Mustache man,
a little child,
mustache
and then he
man.
apologized
There you
for
go.
it.
If you knew mustache man was going to be
I
grown
don't.
up,
To be clear, I don't
kill
think that you can
billions.
kill baby Hitler. He's not guilty of anything.
No one killed baby Hitler, sir. If
I'm
you had,
aware
you
of
know-
that. I'm aware of that. Right. I'm saying that it would be impermissible to do so.
Yes, of course it would be.
So then we agree.
So again,
Except-
again,
except-
Then
again,
we
believe
agree
that.
Muhammad did something fucked up.
And wh-
again.
why would it be impermissible? Except you believe that in the
Again,
Quran that
I've got a life to
Dhul
get
Khidr, when he
back
took
to.
Moses,
You guys sit
he
on
killed a child.
TikTok and invite people to nothing.
Yeah.
You continue doing that.
Well,
I've got a life.
If
Okay.
I invited you to nothing, you just spent the last 52 minutes on nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm enjoying myself. This is actually
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
This
right.
is your life.
She's
You make
accumulating
your
since
money
talking
off
to
of
men.
TikTok and nothing else, and you have no purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna?
basically.
Are you allowed to be alone in a TikTok live with men? I thought that was like. I thought
don't
that
think
you couldn't be
yeah,
that.
actually, you
They
got a good
can't.
point. You got a good point.
Okay. So we'll never see you on TikTok live again.
No, you probably would. See, that's just the way I
Oh,
am.
Because she doesn't
my.
care about God.
That's just the way I am. I know.
Yeah, I'm just a sinner. God, what are you
So,
gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you gonna do with me, God? I just
And
sin.
even Khadija, the Prophet's first wife, she was the best businesswoman there was at that time.
She
So what
didn't
are you even
handle
talking-
men.
She was
She wouldn't just
amazing
handle men.
businesswoman when
Uh-huh.
you guys in Arabia were
What do you
murdering your own daughters
No, they
alive.
weren't. They
He
weren't.
brought and ended all that. So what are you
They,
talking
no,
about?
he didn't. No,
your
he didn't.
your backwards Arab culture, he came and stopped. Yes.
What?
Go and check
Holy
your backward
shit.
Arab culture.
God
I'm not
damn.
an-
That
I'm not-
You
Ems
know,
I'm not an
came
I
Arab
don't know.
buddy.
I don't know if you're. I
I'm
don't know
not
if
an
you're
Arab.
aware of this, fuck lady. You know, my understanding, my guess would be that modern day Arabic culture is like hugely
modern.
influenced by
Not modern
Islam.
day. No,
Then why are you asking Ems to fucking apologize for it?
And also, I'm not an Arab.
pre-Arab,
Oh
pre-Islam.
damn, brutal.
Yeah, go and check what they
Arabs
were doing to their
catching
daughters.
strays. Holy shit.
Go and see
You
what
should
they were,
see,
how
wait,
they
you
were
should go check
burying their
to see
daughters.
what
they were
Islamic
ashamed
people
of
in
having,
today's day and age are doing to their daughters.
Yeah, they were ashamed of having daughters.
They're cutting their
Go
vaginas.
and check all that Muhammad came and stopped.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, go
I'm
and
sure.
go and check your history.
sure.
Go
I
and check
did.
your,
I did. I did.
you
And you're
did,
lying.
so you agree.
And you're lying.
No, I'm not
No, you
lying.
just-
You're lying.
Give me the source. Go ahead.
I've not got time, so I've got time to pray.
You don't have a
Don't worry.
source because it doesn't exist.
I've got time to pray, and you guys sit
You've been
on
saying you're going to
TikTok
pray for the last
and
15 minutes.
continue your
And you've been just crying
invitation
about how we have no
invitation
lives.
to absolutely nothing.
Which
Are
which
you going to keep
prayer?
crying or are you
Oh,
going to
also
pray?
by the way, you couldn't even say the
Mug.
thing. Wait, to be clear, you couldn't even say the thing that I said I didn't know to.
You said you came from monkeys.
I didn't say that for like the 8th time. I didn't say that.
The Quran does, but sure.
Ian, you did. Ian, don't lie.
It's all recorded. In fact, it like with the way it went, it will probably get posted.
Oh, brilliant.
It's gonna be on
That's fine.
YouTube. Me
Yeah,
saying
make sure
me
you tag-
not
make sure you
saying
tag-
that, right?
Make sure you tag
Okay.
me.
No, because that is haram.
Oh,
What?
Is your husband a dayuth?
Haram? Do you believe in haram and halal?
Is your husband a dayuth? Is your husband a
believe in
dayuth?
haram
Just
and
answer
halal?
the
wow.
question.
You know,
Is your husband a dayuth?
well, she's
you
she's
don't
raising a
believe in
great she's
haram and
raising a great
halal.
point, right? You know, it's just the three of us, none of whom believe in haram and halal. It appears.
Yeah, that's fine. On you go.
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh,
what's
Ems,
happening
by the
now?
way,
I gotta. Ems,
Go ahead.
where you are, is there
Yeah.
anywhere? Could you go and get food in places that aren't like? Is there anything but
No,
halal
they're all
food?
in the desert. They don't
yes,
have food and
they-
stuff there.
I don't know why you're being like fucking like racist towards you. I don't know if you're I don't know if you know this fact, but the majority of people who follow your religion are Arab, right? Like I don't know why you're trying to be like fucking racist against like Arab people. It seems like really friendly fire. Friendly fire will not be tolerated.
Okay. I thought it was funny, but it's okay.
We have brown on brown violence now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. I enjoyed this conversation. Even no hard feelings, everyone. I thought it was a decent conversation, and just to end it, the baby is still between the ribs and the back, and so is the sperm. So whatever way you put it, it still works. Okay. Hasta la vista. I'll speak to you guys soon.
Okay. Wow. What the fuck was that? Holy shit. That was it was pretty crazy. But you've talked to this lady in the past?
Like twice.
Everyone, or well, at least Molly was saying that she might not be like a real Muslim.
She converted to Islam, but she has something wrong with her brain. 100%.
Oh,
to
okay.
answer your question,
Wait,
like,
do you know that to be true, or you just assume? Okay,
No.
sure.
But from the way she talks, that is not a stable person. But to answer your previous question, you were saying yes, there is non-halal food, because again, like it's a Muslim and Christian country, quote unquote.
That's
and
right.
a weird thing though, they have an entire city called Garbage City, and it's mostly inhabited by Christians. Which
Isn't that also where is the Coptic Church in Egypt?
Yes, it's the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria.
Yeah, because I was watching a video from my goat Ethan Muse about his conversion story to Catholicism. And he was saying that he was like exploring like the different denominations, trying to find the right ones. He was like going to different churches, and he found himself in like the Coptic Orthodox Church, and he felt like it was like he couldn't see himself there. It was like basically only Egyptian people.
They have their own pope too.
Holy shit. Can you imagine getting that mogged by like the different pope? That's pretty brutal. The Pope of Alexandria? No one's ever heard of this fucking guy.
Maybe not on your side of the globe.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's true. That's a good point actually, right? But maybe elsewhere people have, but in terms of, I don't know. If you go to
I'm pretty sure he's like well known in like Eastern Orthodox circles, I think, because like he regularly meets with the actual Pope and stuff. So
yeah, sure, okay. If there's if you went to,
I think his name is Shinoda or something.
The current
Is
guy?
that the old one? I think so. Yeah.
Who's currently right now? There's Pope Tawadros II.
Tawadros, okay.
Fuck, I was gonna. If you went to somewhere like Saudi Arabia, would there be anything other than halal food?
I'm not sure about food, but apparently, like recently, they had a law in which you can buy alcohol depending on if you're rich enough. So if you're not rich enough, it's more of like if you're earning more than a specific amount of money. So if your paycheck is more than so amount of money, then you can buy alcohol, which is weird.
That is weird. Although, I don't know. It does get back to like the question of like I know that people in like one of my girlfriend's 2 degrees, one of them was in public health, and I don't know. Apparently, like it's a very like complex and nuanced issue about like whether or not food stamps should be something that you can use for alcohol. Which I don't know. I kind of see both sides to it. It's a tough one.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I would say no.
Yeah, although a lot of people think that it's like condescending, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, you know, if you have to ask the government
it's for food.
Yeah.
It is not to ruin your liver.
I think there's something to that. Yeah. I think I'm probably right. Like if somebody like loans you money, obviously they can do that with like strings attached. I think probably the same thing can be true of like food stamps. It doesn't seem inconsistent to me.
Because it's based upon like the government helping you survive.
Yeah.
It's like if you're lending your friend money because he needs to eat, and then he spends it all on like cannabis and wine.
Yeah.
You'd be pissed.
Yeah, true. God. I think that's true. All right, let me read some super. I have so many
I'm
fucking.
gonna be dropping though, but thank you so much for having me up.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, thanks so much for coming up. Appreciate you. We fired off the M signal. Oh, look at my girlfriend as 2 degrees. Yeah, I'm like the next generation Ben Shapiro. Oh yeah, my girlfriend that graduated from Johns Hopkins with 2 degrees. You know, it's only a top 10 school. Catholic Thinker, thanks so much. It's great to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope things are going well. I don't know. I hope everything's fine where you are. Good luck on your paper. Would love to read it when it's done. Trying to think on the next thing to call in for and refine my own argument. Yeah, absolutely. There's a bunch of puzzles with simplicity that I'm working through. So here's a new puzzle for you to think about in terms of simplicity. Typically, knowledge depends on reality. Like, in order to have knowledge of a particular state of affairs, that knowledge depends on that state of affairs. So, and you run into this when you're talking about like God's omniscience and free will, that what a lot of people want to say is that, well, God's knowledge that you were going to, I don't know, go to sleep at this time, God's knowledge that you were going to do that was grounded by your action that you do that. The fact that you go to sleep at that specific time is what grounds the fact that God knows that you go to sleep at that time, not the other way around. But it seems like the proponent of divine simplicity couldn't say that, because God's knowledge of what time you go to sleep is identical to his existence. If God's knowledge of what time you go to sleep is grounded in your actions, then God's existence would be grounded in your actions. Like, I don't know. I wonder how a proponent of divine simplicity might get around that. It seems like it might lead to like a collapse of free will, basically. Ray, thanks so much for super chat. Also, my name is Danish, so don't worry about pronouncing it. Danes can't either. LOL, this language has 28 goddamn vowels, dude. That can't be true. Shoki Pixel, thanks so much for super chat. Is murder wrong in all possible worlds? If yes, objective morality is necessary and doesn't need God. If not, it's contingent on a subject. True. Also, if you want to say that God has free will in terms of like what he issues, like what sort of divine commands he issues, I think you need to say that. I think the divine command theorist needs to say that all of the moral obligations are contingent, and the thing that they're contingent on is God commanding them. If God commands murder, then murder is good. Mike Bowen, thanks so much for super chat. My brother's a pastor, and I got him to admit that the wrong maker for sin is that God has the power to enforce punishments. That was the last straw for Christian ethics for me. That's, yeah, first of all, great use of the word wrong maker. But second of all, yeah, that's a great point. It's absurd. It's like a silly basis for morality. You know, if somebody had you trapped in a cage and would like prod you with sharp objects, if you don't do what they say, that doesn't make it moral to do what they say. Garbage Man, thanks so much for super chat. Let her interpret it as babies or seminal fluid or whatever she wants. It's still wrong. That's true. Yeah. Evil Banana Wind, thanks so much for super chat. She just wants to see your balls, Ian. Kind of feels like it. I don't know. Boots and Cats and Boots and Cats. Thanks so much for super chat. FYI, the singular form of Homo sapiens is still Homo sapiens. What? That can't be true. That's bullshit. Stop fucking lying to me. What? That's what the fuck? Okay, that's ridiculous. That's absurd. Get rid of Latin. End Latin. Pack it up. Somebody take the Latin away from me. I don't want to see it anymore. Tracy, thanks so much for super chat. Choking on Ian's massive hog. No, really, I'm under the desk. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Ray, thanks so much for super chat. Imagine thinking that Muhammad, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Qurashi warlord was full of kindness. True. All right. Make sure you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist, I guess. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Let's get the next one on up in here. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Ian?
Yeah, doing well. How old are you?
I am 20 years old, sir.
Yep. What religion?
I am a theist, a Christian theist, and I just wanted to talk to you about your claim that God isn't real.
Yeah. What makes you think that God exists? Oop, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just wanted to know what makes you think that God exists. Oh, wait, there's like an echo now. Oh, no. You might need to put your headphones back in.
Yeah, hang on 1 second, sir.
One. Oh, cool, yeah.
All right, can you hear me?
Wait, let's see. Testing. Is there an echo? There seems to be an echo.
Testing.
Yeah, but there seems to be an echo is like my problem, right?
Oh, okay.
All right, whatever you had going on like the first time was good.
How about now?
Testing. Yeah, there still seems to be an echo.
Oh, man. Well.
That's too bad.
What
You
part
should
of
get. Do you have headphones?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see. Hello?
Yep. Hey, how's it going?
There we go.
Wait,
All right.
okay, I can. Your headphones are not connected. I can still hear the echo.
Oh, hold on. What about now? Can you hear me now?
Hello? This is crazy because I can't hear you, but it still shows up as having an echo.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait, actually, wait, okay, you're just like giga quiet.
How about now?
You're like insanely quiet.
Man.
This is so sad.
What about now?
Well, the echo's back. Listen, man. How about you get this all sorted out? Get yourself a good pair of wired headphones. I'm sorry. I can't do this for like, 10 minutes, right? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how old are you?
32.
Yep. And what religion?
I don't really have a religion. I was just wondering, I was talking in the comments, like, how can you say, like, for certain that God isn't real?
So it doesn't seem like a mind is the sort of being that could be an ultimate being. Like, it doesn't seem like, it seems like all the mental stuff, like agency, all that is going to be grounded in like further things. It seems like knowledge is going to be grounded in further things. So it doesn't seem like there could be a mind that is ungrounded, is basically where I get off the ship.
But how could you, like how could you account for knowledge at all under an atheist worldview? Like, because you said like it seems like knowledge wouldn't be grounded in God, but would knowledge only be able to be grounded in a supreme ultimate mind?
No, of course not. That's like deeply silly because then what would ground God's knowledge?
God is the grounding for knowledge.
So is God's knowledge grounded?
It's grounded in God.
You think a thing can self-ground? Grounding is typically taken to be anti-symmetric, not anti-symmetric, irreflexive, although it is also taken to be anti-symmetric, which means
What do
that
you
a
mean
thing
by,
cannot stand in the grounding relation to itself, because then it's like determining, you're basically saying like God's knowledge accounts for God's knowledge. Like God has this knowledge because God has this knowledge. That's not really an explanation.
I would say like knowledge in the way that you think of it isn't the way that knowledge applies to God. Like when you think knowledge, you have to like have a truth maker, but God is the truth maker. So things are because God says they are.
I mean, that's really cool. What's the truth maker for that fact? What's the truth
God.
maker for the fact that God's the truth maker?
No, I'm saying what truth is what God has decreed as
Yeah,
the truth.
but I want to know, like, what's the truth maker for that truth?
That's not a relevant question for God.
It is. I'm asking you. You're saying that God is the truth maker of all truths. What's the truth maker for the truth that God is the truth maker of all truths?
That's not what the word means, right? So
Truth
what I'm
maker
saying
means the
is,
thing that a truth is grounded in.
yeah, but not for God. Like for things
Oh,
that
of
aren't
course,
the
yeah.
grounding.
Well, but you think that's true. Do you think all truths have a truth maker?
Do I think all truths have? Yeah, I think the truth maker for all truths is God.
Okay, so God is the truth maker for the truth that God is the truth maker?
I think I see what you're trying to say here.
It's deeply problematic and unfortunate, yeah.
But I mean, would God be an ultimate being? Like, how is it problematic?
Because it's circular grounding. So grounding is taken to be like an explanatory relation. Like if we have one thing that grounds another thing, like, okay, let's say that we have, what's a good example of grounding? You know, the fact that all of the bricks are arranged in the formation of a house grounds the fact that there's a house there. So you want to say that the thing that grounds the other thing is a part of the explanation for why the other thing exists at all. Like the fact that the bricks are all arranged in like this house formation explains why there's a house there. But a thing can't explain itself. That's not an explanation. So that's typically why grounding is taken to be irreflexive. So a thing can't ground itself.
I'm not really sure, like, why God couldn't be the ultimate ground. Like, there is no more grounding, like, outside of God.
But then,
Like,
I mean,
I'm
you could-
saying, like, I'm trying to say, like, the truth itself is grounded in God. Like, in order for even, like, logic to exist, like, it's grounded in God's mind.
Oh, why?
Because how do you account for logic from a physicalist worldview? Because logic is immaterial,
I
so
don't
it
think
must be grounded in an immaterial mind.
I don't think I claimed to be a physicalist, did I? But
Isn't that like what an atheist would be, though?
no, of course not. You could literally be like a Buddhist atheist, or you could be like a Platonist atheist. Atheism is just the belief that God doesn't exist. You could be so many things. Like a physicalist would be an atheist, but an atheist is not necessarily a physicalist.
Because what I'm saying is all material things are grounded in one immaterial, which is the grounding, and the immaterial is what you would call God.
So I guess like to answer your question, we could say that reality has like a specific structure to it, that there are like certain states of affair that obtain, but in order for any state of affairs to obtain, there's like a certain like necessary structure of reality, and that logic just is the abstraction of the structure that underlies reality.
But is that structure, on your view, would you say that structure is material? Because how could that be a material structure?
I could say that it's an abstract object.
Like a Platonist?
Yeah, I could just be a Platonist about it.
But why wouldn't the immaterial ultimate oneness just be God?
Because we have other alternatives. You would need to, if you're saying that God exists because we need God in order to account for logic, but then I give an account for logic, well, then the argument falls apart, right? You just need some reason to think that God exists that isn't because it's the only way to account for logic. Because I just gave you a different way to account for logic. You just say that it's an abstraction of the structure of reality.
So would that be a physical thing?
No, it would be like a Platonic thing.
But I'm saying, like, would it be like in the sense that it's Platonic, is it still physical, but perhaps just on some other dimension?
Probably. If it depends what you mean by physical, but no, it's not like made out of matter. If that's what you're asking.
Like subject to laws of physics.
No, it's not subject to laws of physics. In fact, it would be like the grounding for like the various different like possibility claims. So it would be like the grounding for, it would be like the truth maker for things like logic.
That's what I'm saying for God, though. Like,
okay, then you agree that we can't account for logic in a way that makes no reference to God.
But would you say that, okay, so if you account for it that way, could you say that like you could be wrong in your accounting and that it could in fact be God?
No, right? Because even if nothing at all existed, in order for nothing to be a specific state of affairs with a specific identity, there would need to be some underlying structure that is able to make possible nothing and something. So even in a world where there's nothing, there would still have to be this structure. So in fact, this nothing is impossible and the structure is necessary.
So are you saying like for there to be nothing, like there would need to be like the negation of nothing, so like the P or not P, so then logic would be necessitated?
Not really. Just that if there was nothing, then there would be like a consistent thing that's identical to itself. In order for the state of affairs to be self-identical, in order for it to be nothing as opposed to something, there needs to be like the something nothing distinction, which then requires I'm processing what you said a bit more. I think maybe if what you said is something like what I just said, then yeah.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're talking about like logic, because there would need to be differentiation between the nothing and the something.
Yeah.
So there would need to be a P and not P there. You could say
basically
something
like
is P and not P would be.
Yep, there's like a structure that underlies the identity of these things.
But wouldn't that structure need like an observer?
Why? Why would it?
It just seems like it would, like intuitively.
I don't share that intuition.
What would decide? Okay, so if there's nothing to observe, the fact that there isn't nothing, like is there something with no one to observe it?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I might have to. I'm not really seeing like how you could still say God isn't real based on that.
But
because it seems like it could go the other way too.
What you were trying to demonstrate is that logic is impossible in the atheist worldview. Also, okay, here's a problem for you. If you agree that there's a structure that underlies having like different alternative possibilities, well, that means that God's ability to know anything or will anything or have any mental state that is about anything, the object of God's mental states would need to be grounded in this underlying structure, which means that God can't be an ultimate being, because in order to have these mental states, those mental states would be grounded in the structure that I'm describing.
Yeah, but that's what I was meaning. Like, it's gonna be like, I guess mental states is about like as analogous as it could be. Like, I want to say like God is a mind, but not necessarily in the sense that we think of. Like, not in the sense of like consciousness attached to the brain, but rather that like spirits are also the kind of thing that can have something you might consider a mind.
So, do you think that God has like mental states that are about things?
I think he has to, right?
Yeah. But what are God's mental states about? Like, for
I would
example,
say his will.
yeah, sure. So, I don't know, let's take the laws of logic. How do you think God accounts for the laws of logic?
Because he would need to like it wouldn't make sense for him to like I don't see how he couldn't, right? Because for him to separate like the lamb from the goats, you know, he would need to hold one in a different view than the other. So he'd need to be able to know that one is separate for the other. So I think it's just grounded in that fact
Well,
that God needs to.
but
Yeah.
then that's really problematic, because what you're saying then is that God's knowledge requires this other further thing to exist, which means that, you know, that's an ontological dependence relation. When you're saying that the nature of one thing requires some other thing, then you'd be saying that God's knowledge depends on logic. That's not God grounding logic. That's actually the opposite. That's God being grounded in logic.
But couldn't it just be like that? It's a part of God's nature. Like if you think
What does
about
that
like God
mean?
being if you think about God being like omnipresent, so he would, and logic is a part of his nature. He would be the logical structure.
What does it mean for logic to be a part of his nature? What does that mean?
It would mean that there is something intrinsic to the geometry of the spiritual being called God that necessitates what we would call logic.
Okay, but that's like a total non-answer, right? Like the physicalist could give like the exact same non-answer. They could say, well, you know, logic is intrinsic to the geometry of atoms, and that's what we call logic. You know, it gives rise to logic.
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I might have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know, I, as always, highly recommend that you get a different argument than tag. I think it's the worst one. You know, you should look into fine tuning or psychophysical harmony. But thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate it. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. This guy says, "Hey, how's it going?"
Hey, what's up, Ian? What's up, bro?
Yeah, how you doing? How old are you?
Pretty good, man. 36. I'll be 37 in July or July 25th this month.
Yep. And what religion are you?
I am a Christian. I believe in the biblical narrative. Jesus Christ all day. Team Yeshua.
Yep. What makes you think that God exists?
I left Christianity around 2008. I had like suicidal stuff going on. I could feel darkness. You know, some people say that they're hypersensitive and they can feel things or whatnot. I could feel like weird negative energy, dog. Like it was real. And I was like, God, I need to know if you're real, because what's going on? I left Christianity and I had to figure out a way to siphon through all these different religious, paranormal, supernatural, everything, anything God. I had to figure out how to, you know, how can I decipher between all of this? Because I don't know everything. And it's a lot of information out there, a lot of different religions. So I had to start like some type of premise. And I love science. And I didn't think that science, religion, politics, I don't think that all those things should be separated. I think the moment humanity talks about it, we can figure something out. So I also think that asking the best questions gives the right answer. So to not be long-winded, I'm simply saying this. I think there's a measure of truth to test for all of humanity. Then there's different type of tests that can be applied. I'm working on a book that has like a 49-point test system that breaks it down in 7 different tests. I'm not going to go through all of them clearly, but part of my logic is associated with that. And from that conclusion, just long story short, it pointed me back to the biblical God's narrative, or the biblical narrative's God. And thus I recognize that, yes, we are designed, and this is the simulation we're living in called life, and it was created by God.
So But what's the evidence for that? Like, what part of reality would make you think, like, what's something that I can know from my experience or from logic that would lead me to believe that God exists? Like, what's the evidence?
Got you. We'll start at information. I
Yeah.
had to consider, okay, information itself has an intrinsic eternal reality to it. Information is information. It's not physical, it's immaterial. And science does show that non-physical things can create the physical. Sound, light, vibration, etc., even time.
All those things are
These things-
physical.
Well, in a sense, you can say light is physical, right? It's a wave and it's a photon, but it's intangible, right? Sound
Yeah.
is intangible, right? Information is intangible. It's not a hard construct, but those things together can produce the physical because vibration, atoms, all that stuff. I don't know how deep you want to go into the science.
Yeah,
So
we
I
could go
see
deep
design.
into the science, but I think a lot of those things probably, I think you're going to find for a lot of those things that they are in some sense tangible.
Well, still, the deductive reasoning is that we see a DNA code, design and structure within the whole cosmos and universe. I believe that clearly humanity did not create the universe, right?
I agree with
We're
that. Yeah.
observing, right? So we're observing the whole existence that we live in called life, and it has the universe in it. So we're observers.
Yeah.
And I know that so somehow it popped up. Some people believe in evolution. I believe in design. And I
For the
believe that
universe,
intelligent-
nobody thinks the universe evolved. Everyone thinks that life
Well,
evolved.
yeah, right. There's different. Yeah. Well, you see what I'm saying. There's
We're
a
kind of
scientific.
jumping all over the place. Like, let's just stick to like,
Right. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
information and intelligent design. That's my premise for God.
Yeah.
Since there's design and intelligence behind that design, and information is in some sense eternal, I believe that all-knowing mind constructed the universe and the simulation that we're called.
yeah, I don't
life.
grant that we live in something that's designed. And to the extent that information exists, I think it's only like an abstraction of certain underlying functions.
That's fine.
So
But can you disprove God from science?
I don't
You know-
think I'd make the claim that I can disprove God from science. I
That's
think
what I
I'd
saw
rely on
too.
philosophy for that.
You know
I
what I mean?
think
So
that
it's like yeah, go ahead. I apologize.
yeah, I think that I'd be giving like philosophical arguments. I don't know why we would be restricting the scope to just that. That's not my claim isn't like God isn't real according to science. My claim is that God isn't real. I'm gonna
Is there
prove that.
any premise for it?
Yeah, I could give you like some premises for it.
Yeah, you like. I just want to see your position because
Yeah.
once again, mine is just simply I see creation and I see design in that creation, and I believe that that intelligent design denotes a creator, therefore God.
Okay. Do you think that God is self-sufficient, or do you think that he's like a being that depends on other things?
I believe that before anything was created, since information in itself is eternal and God is outside of time, I believe before anything was created, the idea of angels, demons, paranormal, the universe itself, there is existence, self-awareness. Existence itself, I believe, is attributed to God.
Do you think that answers my question?
If it doesn't, I can take another stab.
Yeah.
at it.
Do you
I'm
think
happy
that
to
God
go
is
ahead.
self-sufficient, or do you think that he depends on things for his existence?
I thought my answer was saying that since there is nothing in creation that needs to be there for God to be present, then I believe God in his, I believe it's called aseity, he is self-existing. He doesn't
Yeah.
need creation to be existing.
Yeah, sure. Do you think that God is divinely simple?
Simplistically complex.
But do you think God has parts is more the question? Like, do you think he has
Parts?
proper parts? Like, do you think that he's composed of various different things? Or do you think that there's like one simple essence?
I think the essence would be existence, and I think the manifestation of that is dependent on his expression.
Okay, well, if you're saying that his essence is existence, well, then that's going to commit you to divine simplicity. So then you'd be saying that, God is just identical to existence itself. But this seems to lead to like a lot of problems.
That wouldn't be my position. I wouldn't be saying that everything in existence is God. I'd be saying that sovereignty and authority is allotted to him because he's the creator of it. He literally is what it. If something has to exist, you can only know it exists from an observer.
I
If
could have
there is no
sworn you just
observer-
said that his essence was
You know, it's a-
existence.
I'm saying. So since he is the observer, he's the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, or mind, body, spirit. He has a mind, intelligence, all-knowing information. He has a spirit into our nature, a character, personality, will, etc. wisdom, logic, death, hell, whatever those things are, that's broken down within that mind and that spiritual aspect to understand good and evil. And then the expression of that is how he's manifested. And that could be through word, sound, expression, or that can be translated into form.
Okay.
And that's why it says the word became flesh.
Yeah,
and
that
or
just
the
like
word
super didn't
created.
engage with like anything that I said at all.
I believe it addressed all of it. I have a book on
Wait,
it.
can
but we
you
go
can
ahead
you
and
repeat
continue.
back to me what my point was?
The question was, can God exist in a simplistic sense without anything being created? I didn't ask the
That
question
that
like
like
you're asking,
that like
but
turbo
you
wasn't
can
the
go ahead.
question. That wasn't even close
Go
to the
ahead and ask again.
question.
That's fine. I apologize.
So, okay, the question was just, do you think that God's essence is existence?
So the question is, do I think God's essence is existence?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe the essence of existence is intrinsic to God.
The
You
essence
cannot
of
make
existence,
God.
or that his essence is identical to existence itself?
We can say that since existence means that you are self-aware, God is the ultimate self-aware and or existing one because he's all-knowing.
Do you think like a rock is self-aware?
I think a rock exists, but it doesn't have sapience or satience or satience or whatever it's called.
So then we can't say that what it means to exist is to be self-aware.
I'm saying that's a quality of God. That's what I'm
Yeah,
questioning.
but you said just now, you said what it means to exist is that you're self-aware. But then
I'm
we agree
saying
like that can't be true.
I'm saying that when you know you exist, it's because of self-awareness.
I
So
agree with that.
a rock doesn't know it exists because it doesn't have self-awareness.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
does exist, and he knows he has self-awareness because he's all-knowing and he literally is existence. He can't not exist.
Are
He
you
has to
saying
exist.
God is identical to existence?
Yeah, literally his name means to be or to exist,
Oh,
which
well,
other
that's
human beings.
then we run
He's
into
a
like
being.
we run into like trivial problems with this one.
Go ahead,
You
swing
know,
them at me. Go ahead.
is there anything with existence that's inside of time?
Everything within existence is within time outside of God and or the heavens
But
or
everything in
physical
existence,
construct.
but God is all of existence, is what you just told me. Some of
No,
existence is in time, therefore some of God is in time.
correct. That's the Messiah
Okay,
and or the
but and also
omnipresent
me,
part
right?
of
Because
God
I
as
have
well.
existence.
Yeah, correct. Anything that's in existence exists because God created them
So
for
you
it
do
to
think that some
exist.
of God is in time?
Yes, because he created time. Time is a measure of measuring his will, meaning
Okay.
appointed time.
So he exists in places that he created. You're saying, okay, so he created time, and then everything that exists within time is God. So then it just
Whoa,
very much seems like God exists
no,
within
no,
time.
no, sir. So I can be a painter and create a painting and not be the painting. I can be God, create the whole cosmos, including the heavens
Not
that
if
people
God is
can't see.
existence.
If God is all right, sir. So once again, I think you're equating existence to God is everything in existence. That's not
That's
what
what
I'm
you
saying.
said. You said God is
No, no.
identical to existence.
I said that the essential understanding of existence is essential to God's character because he has to exist.
You said, oh wait, sorry, then
For
that's
example,
just changing what you
you
said
see what I'm
earlier. You
saying?
said God is
No,
identical
bro, I've
to
been consistent.
existence.
I'm being consistent the entire time, sir. You're
Okay,
just using
I think the
you're just using
recording, which is live
semantics.
streamed to YouTube, is going to have
That's
you
fine. And
saying not once but twice that God is identical to existence, that God is
Okay.
existence.
That's what I said. That
Yes,
God,
exactly.
all
So
right, so
God
that's
is
not an
identical to
identicalness.
existence.
Meaning when anything exists, literally God is existence. His name is to be, but he's not
Yes.
anything in existence. So they're not the same qualifiers.
Okay, maybe I
You see
could
what I'm saying?
put this on a notepad, and that would be helpful. So I
That's
got
fine.
premise 1, God is existence. Premise 2,
Not
some of existence is in
okay.
time. Me, for example.
That's not, bro. I
Therefore,
think
some
this is
of
definitely
God
strawman.
is in time.
If we're going to properly address this to make sure that this is being properly reflected, because if
Yeah.
I'm saying something messed up and I'm using my own words and it's tripping me up, I understand that. But I am essentially saying without anything that is in creation, that's including the cosmos or even the heavenly realms, dimensions and things we can't see, even the dimensional order and structure of things that is made by God, who is outside of time and creation. Is creation a part of existence? Does creation, the universe, and whatever is in these dimensions, does that exist in existence inside of creation? Yes. Anything that we recognize exists, we know it exists because of our self-awareness, because we are the observer.
Okay.
If we are taking out of the observing process, who is the observer then to observe all of creation? If it's not humanity,
So
it would have to be a living being, correct?
which premise
That
do you
living
reject?
being is the being that literally must exist.
I just want to know
That's
which
what I'm
premise you
saying.
reject. Do you reject premise 1 that God is existence, or do you reject premise 2 that some of existence is in time? Me, for
Premise
example.
1, God must exist.
Okay, so you don't think that God is existence,
I believe that the essential quality of existence is connected to God.
but you wouldn't
So
say that God is existence.
I would say it in a connotation that makes sense. I wouldn't say it as a denotation.
What's the difference?
Denotation would be a definitive thing, and I'm not making a definitive claim. I'm saying that in the context of creation and design, because we're arguing if God is real, and the understanding of creation and design, I'm saying that God is real because there must be an observer. He is the observer outside of creation. Thus, he is a part of existence.
Okay.
Existence in itself.
Oh, sure. So he's a part of existence. So he isn't like all
All
of
right.
existence.
You're really good with the semantics. You know, I'm not AI,
Well,
so I'm not going to say everything perfectly, but I
That's
believe that
that's
summarize
fine.
what
I
I'm
just think it's
saying is that
important to be clear with our words so that we don't
correct,
miscommunicate them. Okay,
correct.
so
I do respect that. I do.
sure. So we have it now that God is not existence. He's just like a part of existence. He's one thing that exists among many. Do you think that there
Once
are other
again,
things in
God is
existence
God.
that God
The
depends on
essential.
for his existence?
That's not all right. Once again, the essential quality of God is existence, meaning
Does he have more?
anything that is associated with what it means to exist is inside of and because of God.
Does
That's
wait,
everything that I'm saying.
wait, sorry, does he have
Yes.
more essential attributes than that?
Absolutely, but we're outlining how do
Okay.
I know that God is
So
real?
let's
And it's
say
from
let's say I had
design,
a
from an
squared
observer standpoint.
circle and I add to the essence of the squared circle existence. Does that mean that the squared circle exists? The existent squared circle, does that exist?
The screen froze. Hello, you
Oop.
there?
Hello? Can you
Here
hear
you go.
me?
I got you. You're back.
Wait.
Yeah, you're back.
Oop. Okay, wait. Sorry. Am I back?
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't
Chat,
know.
are we
I don't know
good?
where it cut out, but okay. Do you think that the existent squared sorry, I'll start it first. So let's say we take something like a squared circle, like a contradiction, a thing that, obviously can't exist, and then we put into its essence existence, it has in its essence existence. Do you think the existent squared circle exists?
Put existence inside of something that already exists, it's going to exist.
So you do think that the existent squared circle exists?
If we can qualify, all right, so let's do this. What is existence to you?
It's
What
pretty
does it mean to
brute. I
exist?
can give you like a lot of synonyms for it. I'm gonna tell you
Connotation,
things that it's
correct?
like, I don't know what you mean by
Connotation.
connotation. It's gonna be something
So,
like being,
okay.
or it's gonna be something like obtaining, or it's something like being actual.
So if a rock exists, does that rock have self-awareness
Nope.
because of how that rock is designed?
Wait, are you
Correct?
gonna engage with my question at all? Do you
Yeah,
think
I'm
the
just making sure
existent
we're.
squared circle
I'm just making sure we're.
exists? I don't
I
grant that the
believe
rock
that.
was designed.
Gotcha, but you do recognize it's a part of existence. You just don't know
Yeah.
how it got here.
Well, ooh, sorry. Did I say that I don't know how it got here? Or did
How
you
did
put
rocks
that
get? How
into
did
my
rocks
wait,
get
wait,
into
wait,
the?
wait,
How did
sorry, wait, that
rocks?
was a yes or
I
no
just.
question.
I
Did I
gotcha,
say
but
that or did you straw man
okay.
me?
I'm not strawmanning you. It's just a
Did
question. But
you
you
or
can
did
ask
you
your
not like
questions. I'll
put the
stop.
words into my mouth? You said that
It's
I
your
don't know
turn.
how it got there.
I retract everything. Go ahead. It's your turn. I
Okay,
apologize.
sure. Yeah, we can trace back like the like coming about of these various rocks through geological processes.
Also, you do want to engage in that question. It's however you want to do it. I'm not
No,
trying to
that's
control it. It's
fine,
on you.
right? I mean, I still want an answer to my question, which is, do you think the existent squared circle exists? The squared circle whose essence includes existence, does that exist?
The square circle outside of existence before its existence is put inside of it.
What? Huh?
I believe maybe I'm not understanding the question.
I'm
Are you
not
saying the
asking about
square
like a
circle?
hypothetical. I'm asking, do you think that a squared circle whose essence includes existence exists?
Absolutely.
I take that as a reductio. That's a contradiction.
If the square circle is a thing, things exist already. You can't have a thing inside
Okay.
of something that doesn't exist in the first place.
Listen, man, if you think
Existence
squared circles
quantifies
exist,
self-awareness.
if
Bro,
what
I
it takes
didn't.
to believe
That's
in
what I'm
your,
saying. I'm not
you
asking.
just said that the squared circle
I
exists.
didn't know if. All right, I didn't know if you was asking me to qualify if square circles are real. That's not the question. The question is God real? That can we use semantics to qualify things in a conversation?
You
So my
just said
question
that the
was, bro,
existent squared
all right,
circle
how
exists.
can you qualify how the universe came to be
Wait,
without a
why are we
designer?
pivoting away?
Bro, the question, bro, I'm just trying to
I just want to
track the
get clear
prompt.
on this. I'm trying to help you understand the problem with just putting existence into the essence of a thing. Like why you probably
Okay.
can't do that. Because if
All
you
right,
can
so
just
are you
put
saying you probably can't,
existence
or
into the
it's impossible
essence,
to do?
it's
Is it
not possible
impossible?
because existence isn't a property. It's not
All right,
something that
so
in essence can
what is
have.
existence? You have not
Essences can be
clarified that.
actualized. I gave you a ton of synonyms for it.
Could you give me one definitive definition for the audience, please? If not, I can clarify.
Has being.
Can you define being?
Yeah, that which is.
Okay, so can a rock have being and also exist?
Yeah.
Okay, but can a rock be self-aware?
No. Do
All
you
right,
think
is
the
that by
existent
design? Is
squared
that by
circle?
design?
Whoa, you're so
You
desperate
see
to
what I'm
pivot
saying? Go
away
ahead,
from
bro. No,
this
go ahead, bro.
because
Go
you got
ahead.
like skewered by it.
I was just trying to
presumably.
check the same question. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Do you think that the existent squared circle exists?
Are you asking me if it's real?
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a real thing called a square circle unless you simply put a circle inside of a square.
But what if
or
its
however you
essence
wanna
is
do it.
existing?
If it exists because of its essence, you said, what if its essence is existing?
Yeah. Like God. You said
Meaning-
God's essence is existing. What if there's a squared
So-
circle whose essence is existing? Would that thing exist?
So if there's, all right, does the square circle have the potential to be real? Or
Are
does
you
it, are we
asking me
already
about like a
calling-
regular squared circle or the one
Just
whose
a-
essence is existence?
I'm asking you for a qualifier if the square circle is already existing or if existence is the thing that makes it exist.
In the same way that you're saying that God's essence includes existence, I'm telling you a squared circle whose essence includes existence.
Has to exist because it cannot
That
be
would commit you to
disqualified
saying
or
that
disconnected
there's
from
a squared circle
existence.
that exists.
Exactly. I'm saying that the square circle
But
exists
squared
because
circles don't
existence
exist.
Brother, that's why I asked you, are you
They're
asking me if they're
contradictory.
real? Do you not under all right, so
That is
all right, so
what I'm
let's do
asking
this.
you.
Let's stop talking
Is
about square circles.
a squared
Is God
circle,
real, bro?
Okay, sure. So
Like,
you've
come on.
affirmed the existence of squared circles twice now. Sure.
Your time with it, because it's just about, is God real? I know that my God or the God of the Bible or any gods in religion around the world within anything in human history collectively within the human experience thus far on planet Earth has never quantified any of their gods being a square circle. So if we're going to quantify what is God and which God we're talking about, we can qualify if this God is real, because there's many gods who don't even claim to be a real God. They're just worshiped because of human creatism. So I want to get to this point so we can see, is there a real God at all, bro?
Mhm.
I was serious with my faith. I wasn't
Yeah.
just postulizing a philosophy. So as a human being, I recognized things are designed and made. How did they get here?
What's the
Is it
evidence?
randomness or is it design? Design and
Why is that a true
information, brother.
dichotomy?
That's what I've been saying.
Why would that be a true dichotomy? Design
Because
or
we have to-
randomness? Why can't there be a third option? Why can't it be like
Can you-
design or
can you-
not design?
I didn't say it can't be. I'm just postulating that the biblical narrative or that God points to the best plausible answer that life was created and designed. Can you propose a different type of position?
Oh, yeah. There's tons of evidence for evolution. I mean, if we didn't come from evolution, how would you explain the fossil record? Like all of these fossils where they gradually change over the course of millions and hundreds of thousands of years and then even billions of years. And then eventually, they become slightly different over time and lead directly to all the species that we currently see. Like, how would you explain that fact?
Easy. creation design. We have a DNA code. That DNA code gives a sequence of how to create life forms that is instructed. Those cells are instructed to create different proteins, to create different features by instruction and design. So it shows intelligent design and intelligence from an actual creator that is doing these things purposely,
I
not
see.
randomly.
So you're saying that you do believe in evolution?
I do not believe in evolution. If anything, I
Then
believe in
wait, sorry,
macroevolution or
wait,
adaptation. Hear me out. I'm
wait,
answering the
sorry
question.
then. Wait, what question did I just ask you then before the evolution question?
You asked me about, well, you started off with bone fossils or the fossil record. And
Yeah,
I
how
could
do
have
you think that
postulated
what
about
you
the
said
fossil
explains the
record.
fossil record?
I believe that I explained how DNA shows how
Did I
things
ask
can.
about DNA? I don't think I asked about DNA.
Do you know how DNA works,
Wait,
sir?
sorry, do you want to answer my question? Because you just totally
Yes, I
didn't
can.
answer it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can.
I want to
Go
know
ahead
what
and
your
answer.
explanation for the fossil record is.
My explanation is that the flood record or the flood account from the biblical narrative that we find around all of or a multitude of cultures speak about a great deluge or a great flood.
If
I
the
postulate that the worldwide flood caused the fossilization of these animals within sediment that squeezed down the carbon data. That way, it's hard to carbon date where these isotopes possibly could have been, preserved. We don't see anything in life getting fossilized nowadays, which means there's conditions that caused this fossilization. I believe that is the flood record found in the biblical narrative.
yeah, if the flood happened, how did the kangaroos get to Australia?
Plate tectonics. Pangea was originally what it was, and then when the earth cracked open and the waters of the deep bursted up, plus the water gave down torrential downpour, there was catastrophic flooding. And by the time the water subsided, these plate tectonics were spread apart. And during those moments, there was times for straits within land masses for animals and people to migrate
Yeah,
over
what's the
hundreds of time.
evidence? What's the evidence for any of that?
The evidence is the fossil record, human migration, and animal
Well,
adaptation.
wait,
over
sorry. I
time.
just want to know what the evidence is that like Pangea happened like 6,000 years ago. What's the
Plate
evidence for that?
Plate tectonics,
You
along
think
with the
plate
coupling of,
tectonics
I'm
move
answering the
that
question,
quickly?
sir. I'm answering the
How
question. I got
quickly
you.
do you think plates move?
I think based upon perceived time, and conditions. For example, right now, around the Ring of Fire, within the month of June, there's been a multitude of earthquakes that usually doesn't happen like that. So I believe that there's possibilities where conditions arise within the earth to cause these things to happen. I apologize if that didn't answer the question.
Yeah, let's do some math, I guess. So let's calculate how far Australia has moved from plate tectonics and how long it would take to do that.
Correct. And if we consider the rate of things are moving now, not the rate of which things could have been moving during the catastrophic worldwide flood. You see what I'm
Wait,
saying?
sorry,
So
but
there's
I would just
different
need the evidence.
conditions.
That would be presupposing the conclusion. What would be the evidence that plate tectonics were happening differently?
What would be the evidence that plate tectonics were happening differently is
Yeah.
the plate record.
The
we
plate
have different
record.
Yes, the plate record.
Where's
So
the
we'll
plate
see how.
record?
All right. So where does the idea that Pangea
Wait,
was
did you just make
Pangea?
that up?
No, bro. Like plate tectonics is that's what I'm saying. Like it's
You said the
movement
plate
of,
record? Is that a real
bro.
thing?
Like I don't know what to call it, bro. I ain't no dang on geologist, bro. Like I'm
What
not even
thing
a
are you
real
referring
debater, bro.
to?
I'm just a human being, bro. I'm saying that literally from us observing as human beings, the things that we can observe over time or with perceived time, that we can see that the plate tectonics very well could have been conjoined at a point in time and then very well could have been separated. For example, if you look up Point Nemo is that point on the planet that has the furthest point away from land, and there is more water. The biblical narrative says that God caused all the water to join to one place and for the land to emerge. That's consistent with what we see within the actual geological record of the earth. So I'm simply saying that these things that are said in the biblical narrative do outline things that we see scientifically. So I'm only postulating that that is a plausible position. Therefore, my connection to design and DNA in the whole cosmos points to a creator with design. That's all I'm saying.
In order for your hypothesis to be correct, you'd need to be saying that we move about like Australia travels about 1 kilometer every year. That's like definitely false.
Yes, unless there's a catastrophic event like plate tectonics erupting up, causing these geysers, sediment to be everywhere, which caused the animals during the flood,
Yeah,
the
except there's no
dragons,
evidence of
dinosaurs.
that. There's no evidence of
What do
any
you-
of
there's
that.
no evidence of what?
There's
Of,
no
the plate
evidence
tec-
that of these plate tectonics happening at like light speed.
Okay, so let me ask you this: where did all of that sediment come from within
All of
those
what
mega
sediment?
phases? The sediment from the fossil record, all
Which
of those
one?
different
Which parts of it?
there's a
Because
multitude of
rock layers
sedimentary.
form over time, you know.
All right, so can you find me the information that shows how these sedimentary rock layers
How
from
do
water are all
sedimentary
laid down
rocks form?
perfectly within
Perfectly?
these geological
What are
columns,
you
and
talking
some
about
of them.
perfectly?
Listen, brother. Okay. I know you're typing, or I don't know what you was doing, but hear me out. There's the fossil record has layers of sedimentary rock. That sedimentary rock usually comes from water or very fine sand, fine-tuned or fine coursed sediment and pebbles, rocks, etc. They're not boulders, they're not big stones. And so when we look inside the actual fossil record, we don't find the things we would be used to seeing from thousands of years of things building up. What
Like
we see
what?
is a catastrophic.
Wait,
For
what's one
example, there'll
thing? What's
be
one thing that we would expect to see that we don't see?
one thing that we do see that we should not be seeing
Yeah.
at all. I'll do that way because it's easier for me. I apologize. But one thing we do see, and this kind of shook it for me, it was like, whoa, that is serious. There would be like tree stumps inside the middle of these fossil records that go straight up through the actual fossil record, straight up through the layers of sediment. That would be impossible if the tree stump was put there over thousands and thousands, millions and millions of years of time while there's sediment building around them. No, the tree trunk was embedded inside of that fossilized record upright, perpendicular to the layers because it happened in a catastrophic moment. That's why you see some animals giving birth while they're in the fossil record. Some are eating during the fossil record because the moment happened catastrophically all at once, solidifying these animals and preserving them in this sediment that came from the mud from the plate tectonics plus the torrential
Wait,
downpour of the
but
rain.
wait, so I'm super confused. How can't the natural explanation explain this, right? The natural explanation agrees that it all happens at once catastrophically. So what if they got
Worldwide, though, brother. This is
fossilized? Because
worldwide. These are
things
fossil
like
records worldwide.
mudslides,
I apologize.
you know, all of these trees get covered up. They're in swamps. They fossilize within the swamps.
So we have fossilized things right now to today. Things are fossilized.
Things are fossilized, correct? We have tons of fossils.
Are you saying things are being preserved, or we have fossilization that's occurred since the time of the dinosaurs in the record that they gave us?
Yeah,
60,
we have
60
we have
billion years?
fossils that are quite recent.
Okay. Can you give me any fossils from a recent time, and are they associated with the fossil record, or are they associated with different events that caused the fossilization?
Yeah, for example, I mean, if you want like a fantastic example of this, we have fossils of what is it, Homo erectus, like the thing that came right before us. Neanderthals, we have fossils of Neanderthals.
Once again, are you postulating that those fossils were not fossilized during the times of the dinosaurs, and these records that they're giving these billions
Yeah,
of years of
obviously.
time?
How would you explain the layer of iridium that
Oh, that's a good one. That's actually in my book too. There's a couple of things in there. So these things happen because is it iridium? There's a couple of things. I think there's like ringradite. There's a couple of things that we can see within the record of the scripture.
Yeah.
That's also consistent with the Bible or science. So the Bible postulates that God created things within a sequence of time that clearly science doesn't necessarily agree with. But within my book, I do outline how it's possible. I believe these things that we find that could only happen within an X amount of time are perceived conditions. Meaning, if I wanted to draw a tree as a creator, right? I don't have to draw a seed in the ground and then the tree eventually maturing into a tree. I can just draw a tree because I know the information of how to construct it. If I'm God, I could theoretically propose that I know how to create gravity instantly because I'm God, I'm all powerful. I know how to change isotopes and create hydrogen in the periodic table of elements.
Wait, can you
I
get
know
to
how to
the
create light.
I just want the
I got you,
explanation
I
a
got
bit quicker. How would you explain the iridium that marks like basically an end of dinosaur fossils?
What are you asking exactly?
Do you not
So I
even
know how to
I
address
thought
it.
that it was in your book, the iridium layer that marks the end of dinosaurs.
Right. I'm asking you, what are you asking exactly about it? Is what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
among like the rocks, there is this layer of iridium. There's this super high concentration of iridium present all across the world. at this exact place in the sedimentary layer. And, you know, before there are dinosaur fossils and after, none.
All right. So are you asking me why is it there?
Yeah.
Okay. So if iridium is what was it? I think it's number 77, the atomic number. So it's like a hard brittle type composite that's on top of the fossil record, correct?
Not all of
Are
it.
you asking me
just
how-
like a certain region.
Certain regions. So you're asking me how did it get there?
Yeah. Why does it mark? Why is that the thing that marks, you know, dinosaurs from non-dinosaurs?
I believe that dragons are dinosaurs and therefore they're all animals per se. But are you asking me when does that? I'm confused on the question. Are you saying that there's a marking time, and you're saying why is
I thought this was
iridium
in your
the
book.
thing that marks it?
Isn't this in your
I,
book?
I said I believe it is. You feel me? Maybe it might not be, but even still, I know a little something about it. Are you asking me? Is this when the end of the flood happened / when the dinosaurs died? Are you asking me why it's there or what its significance is?
I mean, like, certainly, or is that the questions that ChatGPT was trying to get clear on?
No, I'm not asking ChatGPT.
Okay,
I'm not-
sure.
I'm literally asking you because all right,
Yeah.
either so iridium can, in my opinion, in my mind, it's almost like glass. That's how I look at it. Like it needs like high heat or things like that. I don't know how that's significant to.
Yeah.
I just don't know where we're
So
going
in the
with it.
fossil layer, there's this, it's called the iridium anomaly. It refers to like this layer of high concentrations of iridium that appears in this one place in the fossil record across the entire world. Before this, we have dinosaur fossils. After this, we don't have dinosaur fossils. This is why people think that there was an asteroid, because iridium comes from asteroids. If there was this great flood, then how would you explain this iridium? That
Where does the
separates these
iridium come
things?
from? Is the question? Is iridium?
Why would it be the case that
iridium
there aren't
only
any
because-
humans or anything that's like recent or modern on the other side of this iridium?
Because of it being a catastrophic event. Are you asking me
But it was
if
a
it
catastrophic
ties into
event that
the
happened
biblical?
6,000 years ago. So we should see all the modern species here. But instead,
We do.
we don't.
We do see modern
Wait, sorry.
species. You
Can I
look
see
it
the
up, bro.
modern species? Where
everybody
are the
can
modern
look it up in the
species
chat.
present
Yeah.
past the iridium layer? Maybe you're talking about like
I-
living
I-
fossils, like sharks, like things that haven't evolved in a
Things
really
that
long
live,
time.
things that got caught up in the flood that were around with the dinosaurs that are still around to today. That's what you're asking about, right? You can
No,
look it up.
specifically like
There's a
modern
tons of them.
species that didn't exist according to like the scientific narrative that didn't exist
Show me,
with the
show,
dinosaurs.
give me a,
So for
give me
example,
an
like
animal that
I
didn't
don't know, like a
exist during that time.
hippopotamus.
So hippopotamuses didn't live during that time? Are you
I
sure
don't think
about
so.
that?
Let me make absolutely positive. I'm pretty sure.
You see what I'm
Or
saying?
actually, no,
Like,
no,
this
I don't
is-
even need to because I know that since they're mammals, yeah, they weren't there. Like literally any mammal, other
So there
than
was no mammals. There's no mammals.
there
in the
was. I
fossil
think there
record,
was
bro?
like exactly one mammal that would have existed at the time of the iridium layer.
I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Are there any other
Yeah.
animals?
Sure, if you could find me like a hippopotamus fossil that's like before
And-
this iridium layer.
Fossil record. Should I put before the iridium layer? Are there any other animals in the fossil record before or after the iridium? Are you
Are there
before it
are
or
there
after?
modern are
there
there animals that didn't exist like 60 million years ago that are before the iridium layer in the fossil record?
Are there animals in the fossil record outside of dinosaurs? Right. I think that's the clarifier we need to
Well,
make.
okay, wait, here's a good one. Are there any modern mammals, modernly existing mammals that are in the iridium layer? Like before the iridium layer?
All right, I got you. I think we're gonna get it. Are there modern animal fossil records?
Or modern mammals?
Modern mammals. And this is a great question, you know, because I think it's a good question because I think if it shows that there are mammals in the fossil record, that it does imply that
modern
this
mammals.
timeline was not 60 billion years ago, and the timeline that they're giving us within school systems very well could be flawed. Like some people say, conspiracy say, oh, the educational system is flawed. They be teaching us, the agenda stuff, all that. All right, are there modern animals or mammals?
Not modern animals. It does matter. Modern
Mammals.
mammals specifically.
Right. Before iridium?
Yeah, before the iridium layer in the fossil record.
All right. I spelled that wrong. It says yes, and I can pull it up on my screen. If you guys want to see
Yeah, please. Wait, which one? What's the example?
it. So the question was, are there modern mammals in the fossil record before iridium?
No, before the iridium layer.
Before the iridium layer. I'll put that in and I'll the iridium
Yeah,
layer.
and please ask if it says yes. Please ask for the example.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick.
What example does it give? I'm super curious.
All right, so everybody knows I'm not lying. We pulled it up. All right, so are there modern mammals in the fossil record before the iridium layer? Give example. I should have put give examples, my bad.
No.
But it says no. While the ancestors of the modern mammals, the steam lineages, live alongside dinosaurs, the specific modern groups we know today, such as modern primates and carnivores and rodents, did not appear until after the iridium layer. They evolved rapidly following the asteroid extension and/or what I believe is the flood record. And the scripture does propose that too. Remember, we have Noah's Ark that said,
So this is like kind of impeccable evidence against the flood narrative. Like, wouldn't we just expect a mix of things?
can you hear me? Can you guys still
Yeah.
hear me? I got some lag on my end. Can you hear me, Ian?
Yeah, I can hear you. But this just seems to like
from my research, when I did my this is a specific question, but from my research, I found animals in there, mammals in there, and this is what it does say verbatim. It says, no, while the ancestors of the modern mammals, the stem lineages, live alongside dinosaurs, which scripture does support, alongside with the flood narrative, that there was going to get one of each kind. And during that time in the past, these still would have represented the ancestors of these animals. It says the specific modern groups we now see today, such as modern primates and carnivores and rodents, did not appear in that same time period, which
Yeah.
makes sense. It does not contradict each other. So it does not
No,
nullify
it
that the
does.
biblical narrative presents something. If
Where did,
anything, because you said that the
I just want
Go
to
ahead.
know, right? Where did the wolves come from, or where did like any of the modern mammals come from then?
So, do you understand what a kind is in the terms of the animal kingdom?
No, I'm gonna
Like
need
the
you to cash
like
that
layers?
one out.
I got you. So, the animal kingdom, you got phylum, species, order, gene, or something like that. Kind is also in there.
Kind is
Family, I
not in
believe, is
there.
what
I
it
think you're
is.
gonna be really disappointed to find.
Family. No, I think family and kind are synonymous with each other. If I'm
No,
not
well,
mistaken.
I mean, you might want to redefine family to mean kind, but no, they're not synonymous.
Well, I'll look it up to make sure I'm not over talking, because I'm pretty sure I did this research already. But nevertheless, when Scripture says you are to get every kind
Okay.
to come into the ark,
Maybe I
the,
could
for
help you
example,
out.
canines.
So-
Okay, you can say that, or
Yeah, we
just
got
real quick, I'll say
zero results for kind for family. So it's just not. These things are not analogous.
You put in family. What did you type in, brother? Because asking the right questions matter. It is
Yeah,
2026.
of course. So it's like the Wikipedia page. Kind is the Control F kind. These things are like for sure not analogous.
So what I see is that taxonomy equivalent creation biologists often equate kind to the taxonomic level of family or genus. For instance, all cats, lions, tigers, house cats are considered part of the cat kind, family Felidae, while dogs, wolves, and foxes belong to the dog kind, family Canidae or canine, where we get all that from.
Wait, what?
So
Where
when
are
Scripture
you
is
getting this
talking about
information?
these, I'll share my screen one more time.
Yeah.
All I did was type it in. My question was, what is the connection of kind in relation to the animal kingdom? Because remember, we're dealing with taxonomy came in the 1800s type thing with the nomenclature and all that. It came, probably about last 500 years or whatnot. So the biblical narrative doesn't have that same construct, let alone does it have in that time scientists campaigning against the biblical narrative. And we know how that goes. I'm not going to try to, plead the fifth or whatnot, or I think there's a term I'm looking for. I can't get it. I think it's my phone, bro. Like my phone is so slow.
Well, wait, but let's
so
even ask,
laggy over here,
let's
bro. I've been
ask
trying
that.
to get
Like
this thing to share.
any family you want, and do any of those families, like the cat family, the dog family, any of that, do any of those families appear in the fossil record before the iridium layer?
Yeah, we have saber-toothed tigers.
Not before the iridium
There's
layer.
different type of big dogs. You got the woolly mammoth. You got,
Not before the.
You said what?
Yeah, not before the iridium layer.
There it is. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
I've been trying to share this screen for the past 60 seconds. It's just now popping up.
Okay.
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on with my connection.
Yeah, sure.
But the question I asked, it's so laggy. My bad, y'all, if it's still lagging on y'all end, because it's so bad right now. Can y'all see what it's saying?
It's
Y'all
like
still there with me?
It looks pretty laggy.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on my end, but anybody can look this stuff up.
That's
And I think
okay.
it is a good question.
That's
But
okay.
I
To
think
preserve to make sure your screen's not like lagging out. You should probably turn your camera off. But okay, take any kind you want. Any kind you want. The cat kind, the dog kind. Do we have fossils of any of these before the iridium layer, and which ones?
I'm pretty sure, bro. Like I've done research on it that there's so many bone records that we find throughout the world that we have like a storage of just extra bones. We don't even put in museums, and anybody can look this up. I looked it up because I wanted to be a paleontologist growing up. I'm fascinated with animals, dragons, all that, science, all of it. I'm a little bit of a nerd, but not too much. I'm a little cool, but even still, I went into a lot of the paleontology stuff early, so I remember looking up and seeing there were animals that were consistent with things that we see now. Ducks, certain type of plants that we have still to this day, etc. Different mosquitoes, bugs. We found all type of stuff, but not everything's publicized. Just like there's Disclosure Day where they're saying, we just now going to release some alien stuff. There are some things that they're not necessarily providing.
Bro, that was a movie.
I know, but it doesn't discredit the fact that people talk about alien phenomena on the planet within human history.
By the way, it sounds like you think that kinds are the same thing as families. Do you think that badgers are the same kind as sea otters?
I think that when you get into the details of what makes those animals different based upon their DNA code, which once again I believe is design, I think that through that DNA code you have sequences that are similar, which helps us taxonomize and or distinguish between these different families and or genuses.
So you think that in the last 4,000 years, you had a pair of organisms that gave rise to sea otters on the one side and badgers on the other side?
Not per se. I believe badgers and sea otters are not necessarily the exact same genus and or the exact same family.
But they are the same. They are the same family. Yeah, they're in the Mustelidae family.
Okay, so once again, like I was saying, I don't believe that they're in the exact same. For example,
They are in the exact same family. Yeah,
I got
it's
you.
the Mustelidae family.
I got you, brother, because people can say that, hey, rats share X amount of percent DNA to humanity, but no one's going to say that they're connected, correct? In the same sense, this taxonomy is being made from DNA proteins and features. Not necessarily what God knows, but this is definitely what people are saying about animals, which is cool. I don't mind the paradigm because I'm cool with science. I just separate things from a different worldview. So I'm not trying to discredit anything you're saying. I'm simply just saying that I don't believe that those two animals were the types of kinds that came from each other. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so then what is a kind?
I do believe in micro adaptation and or micro evolution. I don't believe that things in the sea evolved into things that walk on land. I think an amphibian is an amphibian and something that dwells in the aquatic realm is an aquatic animal.
And also
I don't
famously on the
see
land, by the way.
right.
Are goats and cows the same kind?
I don't think they're the same kind. I think they are cattle. I think that if they were on the ark, that they would
They
have
are
been
because they're both in the same family. They're both part of the family Bovidae.
correct. And it said take 2 of each kind. So as far as what was specifically on the ark, I cannot tell you, but I do know that within that DNA sequence, all of those families and their kinds have within that DNA, especially we can consider original DNA and or mother DNA, because of entropy, these things dilute and or fade and or adapt, mutate over time. That's because of entropy. We see you don't leave a car in a garage and it turns into a Lamborghini in the same sense. There's no new information being added to DNA over time. It degrades because of entropy. So we see that scientifically. There cannot be new information being added. It's always mutated and or diluted over time. So that's what I'm saying. I don't
What about
think
what about gene duplication? That's new information.
gene duplication. I think gene duplication is not new information. That is duplication and or replication of the what's
Yeah,
already
so now you have 2 of something rather than 1.
correct. But that's not a new something, is it?
I mean, if you computed the total information content of a DNA sequence, if you have twice as many genes, then you have twice as much information.
I agree. That's why we have.
Or I guess logarithmic, or I guess like
what is it?
it wouldn't be exactly twice as much, but it would be an increase of
40
information.
We got 46, 48 chromosomes. What is it? 23, 24 each. So that's different. You're creating a new creation from adding in different material because of those 2 things. That's reproduction.
Well, wait,
Reproduction isn't the same thing as creating a new gene and or a new feature within the DNA sequencing. The DNA is already structured.
You for sure don't want to say this
design.
one. This one's just obviously false. I mean, okay, let's take something like skin color. Like, surely one of these must have been the original one that came off of the ark. And then
Correct,
how would
and
you
it was
explain the other
dark skin,
ones?
melanin. It was dark skin melanin, and then over time
Yeah.
there's mutation.
Yeah. Oh, so you think like the light skin is like a loss of function? Do you think that they
You
came
can
off
look-
the ark looking like
Look it
black?
up right now. Scientists are doing heavy research in melanin. They realized that albinoism and or the different type of levels of melanin are actually mutations, and that's not me trying to sound wild. It's
No,
literally
no, they,
research.
well,
on
I
melanin.
agree with that, right? Of course,
So,
they're mutations, but this is the new information, right? The new information is the mutations.
Not necessarily. Since it's mutated, it's
yeah.
still present within the gene. So the actual DNA still have things in it, dormant DNA. Scientists want to call it junk DNA, etc. Within the capacity of the DNA. This is how adaptation happens. The
No,
gene or the DNA
confused.
has the capacity. Or you can say you're confused, but
No, I'm
the-
saying
this
that what you
question has
just
an
said
answer.
is confused.
I
Right?
promise you, I
the
promise you if you look up-
information is not there anymore. If it gets replaced, if it gets overwritten by like new information.
What do you mean? All right, so when you're qualifying new information, are you talking about when I'm talking about reproduction, like when a man and woman come together and they have a child?
Yeah, just like the fact that our genomes are different from each other, the fact that there are like differences that are encoded for in genetics, like skin color, this is evidence that, indeed we do have new information. Even on your worldview, there would be new information.
I'm curious if, like, I don't want to make any assumptions, but like, I'm curious if he thinks that like people with extremely dark skin would be able to survive off of the grains that were accessible at the time in the or in like the polar and Arctic regions.
We would be, in some sense, presupposing a lot of different conditions we can't quantify. So we don't know the
No,
atmospheric
I'm talking
conditions, we don't-
specifically about those conditions that we can quantify, like those conditions that are vitamin D deficient in the food that's consumed.
So
like when
you're
you're
talking
eating
about-
grains rather than foraged food.
So once again,
dark-skinned people would probably die of vitamin D deficiency.
So you're talking about dark-skinned people during the time of now, or dark-skinned people during the time of
In the last,
origins
say,
of
4,000
the
years
first
ago,
humans?
3,000 years ago. So during the period of like agricultural development.
So 3,000 years ago, black people would have had a hard time.
Would have not survived the winter. Would have not survived winter in like the northern parts of the world, like Scandinavia. Living off of grains, etc., which is what was available at the time.
Sure,
like the
that's
kind of
fine.
grains that were farmed.
Livelihood.
So like it seems
and
like that this confers some survival benefit to have light
well,
skin.
Well, that's fine. I'm just simply saying that livelihood and well-being within conditions within climate realities, weather, etc. anything, famine, shortages. Like we need certain things to survive. I don't think that that's dependent
Yeah.
upon
So that's
your actual.
sounds like there's
skin
no information
complexion.
there.
Yeah.
Skin complexion doesn't determine the weather, sir.
No, but
You
the
It's
just
not
weather
about
the
the weather,
weather
it's
is going to
about
the
select
weather.
for certain skin colors. If having like,
Oh,
for
so you
example,
guys
like
are.
It's
lighter
not the
or
weather,
darker
it's
You're
sun, it's
skin.
sun
assuming that
availability,
you're
by the
assuming
way.
that the climate. You're assuming that the climate dictates the skin tone.
It
Well,
does
it's
indeed
the amount
have
of
like
solar
an
So
availability.
impact. Yeah,
let me ask you this:
obviously.
is
That's like
melanin
obviously
is
true.
well, no. That's something that's apparent true from what we see in observation.
If not, then
There's a
why would
difference.
these skin tones develop if not for some
That
sort of like survival benefit?
great
And
question.
in fact, we actually know
And so,
exactly what the survival benefit is. It's vitamin. It's
well,
the ability to produce vitamin D. We don't produce our own vitamin D.
and
Now you
people with
can
melanin or no
get
melanin,
vitamin D by eating certain foods, but if those foods are not available, like they weren't for most of Northern Europe,
you get it for the
then
sun.
you have to get your vitamin D from the sun. And in Northern
Right.
Europe, there are parts of the year, namely the winter, where there
Don't
is
get a lot of
very
sunlight.
little sun available.
Correct.
And so
So
you would
you have
so if your
mutations
skin
of
is too
humanity.
dark, you will die from vitamin D
So
deficiency.
So I see intelligent design and a designer who created humanity to have
But
homeostasis,
you
to
think the
have
flood
DNA,
happened?
to have, hear me out. I'm just saying, I believe that there's a God who created all of these things with design, that
Okay.
created our heartbeat, created our senses, our skin tones, and even language. And all the multiplicity and the spectrum of all of it was designed and ordained.
What
I
skin
don't think it
tone
was random
did
chance.
Noah and his family have? Coming up.
Since they were essentially from the Levant, I could say anywhere between dark to, let's say light olive, maybe copper.
Kind
type
of
complexion.
tragically, it's like somewhere between. It's somewhere in the middle, right? Which is kind of tragic for your position because
Why would it be tragic?
yeah, you need to now explain it without new information entering into the genome. How did it come to be that there were all these different skin tones?
Correct. So you can look it up right now. The melanin and or dark skin tone can produce every skin color on the planet. You can get
But you
albinoism
said that they
skin.
were. How do we get from, for example, like Noah,
Does
who is
does
like olive
melanin
skinned
does
to
melanin
like black
dictate
people?
does melanin and complexion dictate DNA sequencing?
DNA
No,
sequencing is
obviously
going to
not.
be the
Correct.
Yeah.
Obviously not. Right. So the DNA itself is the thing that changes what the
yeah
features are. It's not the
Yeah,
melanin.
that's the information.
yeah the new
Exactly. You see what I'm
information.
saying? So the DNA is back to the point of the prompt. How do you know God is real? I'm saying God developed DNA and all of the intricacies that's in DNA, along with the whole human body, let alone the whole cosmos. Gravity, all of it is made by a designer. That's my whole point.
Wait, so
That's
you
that's
then
where we're
agree
going.
with us that there has been new information that's entered into the genome since the flood?
Let's say this. Let's say that I'll grant that new information is able to be given in or deposited to the DNA sequence for any living being.
Oh, that's great.
That does not negate nor nullify that God is real.
But
I
what that
still believe that DNA sequence could be made by that God.
okay? Why does our DNA oftentimes mutate and turn into cancer?
Because of sin,
Oh, proof?
the corruption. Right. So
What's
good
the
and evil.
evidence?
For example, so would you say that you're an animal?
Yeah.
All right. So out of all the animals on the planet, which ones put on clothing?
Humans do, but not even all of us. In fact, there are
There's some
some.
crabs that do.
Yeah, there are some regions. There are some regions where
Nah,
people don't
respect.
wear clothing, right?
No,
And
respect. Respect.
that's how you know that the Adam and Eve story actually came from the Middle East, because the
What?
story is like totally incomprehensible to certain people groups
Whoa.
where they don't do that.
Well, just because something is incomprehensible or seemingly contradictory and or limited to them and their understanding and comprehension does not make it not true. So you can take a cell phone, a lighter, a laptop to somebody who's never experienced technology or industrialized civilizations, and they would be completely flabbergasted that you can create fire through your hand, right? So that doesn't negate truth and or what's evidently true. So that's all I'm saying. Like, so once again,
But how do you
if
think
I
that?
even
What do you think
granted,
my argument was, and how do you think that engaged with it?
I think the argument is about humanity and the message of what's written within the biblical narrative,
Okay,
because the biblical
kind
narrative
of sounds
points
like you
to
didn't
sin
listen.
being Well, you can ask the question again. I don't mind. I got you. But
Well,
I believe
yeah.
that sin entered the world, and since sin entered the world, we don't put on we put on clothes because we know we're naked. They may know they're naked and still just not put on clothes, but that doesn't change the fact that we're the only animals that do. And it's because of design. We're made in the image of God, and we're made to be apex predators on the world. And I believe that's why the flood happened, to give us room to actually be what we are now. Because imagine living with dinosaurs right now, brother.
Well, that's great.
Unless you can
What's the
postulate
evidence?
like I do.
Do you have any
unless you can
evidence for that? That
postulate
was like great story time. I just want the evidence. Like, what's the evidence that any of what you just said
evidence
is
for,
true?
for good and evil? All right,
No,
got you.
no,
So
the
once
evidence
again,
that the cause of cancer is sin. Like, what would be the evidence for that?
gotcha. All right. Entropy, time, good and evil.
You think
The
time comes
DNA
from sin? You
manipulation over
think
time. Entropy, yes, I
you think
believe since
entropy
God
comes
is
from
eternal.
sin?
All right, is time subjective or is time objective?
Time is
Thermodynamics, the most sinful of the sciences.
One
time
more time.
is
Both of y'all say something.
yeah. Oh, well, Blitz was doing a meme because he's a fuck.
That's true.
Do you think? Yeah, I think time is objective. Do you think that God was eternally creating time, or do you think he began to create time at some point?
I believe time in itself is a measurement of God's will. If he is eternal and timeless, he's measuring things that happen within moments of his own will and or existence.
Is
So when we are
God's will
placed,
eternal?
yeah. So
Then
when he
then
places
time would be
creation,
eternal.
correct. So therefore,
Then God doesn't create
creation
it.
is in. No, God is eternal. He
You
is
think an
existence.
eternal
That's what I
thing
was
can be
postulating
wait? So
earlier.
to be clear, you think an eternal thing can be created?
I think no. I
Oh,
think an
that's a
eternal thing.
blunder. That's like a contradiction, even. So you
All
said
right. So
God created time,
go
but
ahead.
then time's eternal, and eternal things can't be created.
So what do I mean by eternal?
Existing but not beginning to exist.
Okay. So what is time? Is time not a measurement? What is time?
I take time to be something like the dimension along which change in objects is possible.
Correct. So it's an observational reality, correct?
It's not really what I said.
Well, that's all I'm postulating. That since time is based upon observation on a linear sense, that entropy that causes mutation, that entropy that causes things to expire over time, is there because things degrade because of creation being corrupted
So
from good and evil. So creation now is exposed to good and evil, and thus we as human beings and all of creation experience good and evil, and I can see that from the human experience.
yeah. I guess like here's a question. What do you think gravitational waves travel through? If time is just a measurement, if space-time doesn't have any sort of like ontology to it, what do gravitational waves travel through?
I believe they travel through the primordial waters of what is referred to in Genesis, which is why we see light waves and light photons. We see a particle and we see a wave. And I believe the reason why light stretches through the expanse of this cosmic web, which some people could call dark matter, and or however the web space cosmos moves, it's also in similitude to water and or
Yeah.
some type of hydrogen plenum.
But how does
with
it reach the waves? Or I'm sorry, Blitz probably has a way better question than mine.
Yeah, my question is, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Round, absolutely, a sphere.
Okay, so
Sphere
then why
will
do you think that
open-
there's water in space?
Well, once again, I believe that waters, like hydrogen, is the first element on the periodic table, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So it's the most plentiful one on the table.
It's the most
et cetera.
abundant. It's the most abundant element.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Hydrogen is not water, though.
hydrogen- Correct. Hydrogen, of course, the name in it has to do with water generator. Like that's what it means in Greek or Latin.
That's
or
an
whatever.
etymological fallacy.
Right. Well, even still, I believe
Even
what
still,
God
even though
was-
it's a fallacy, even still.
I'm just pointing to symbols, connections, themes that I've saw connecting the dots. I use science, synthesis of human experience, along with spiritual, supernatural realities and phenomena. So I'm not being narrow-minded. I'm considering all of existence and or the human experience. So when I consider the periodic table of elements, I believe the periodic table of elements, at least especially hydrogen, was present. My bad. I think I'm answering bro's question. I don't know if I'm answering yours again. Yours yet, but I believe that the water is this low density or high density plenum that God says he was hovering over in the beginning. He said, I'm hovering over the face of the deep. I believe it was deep in this water, this moving universe.
This non-water water.
It's yeah, you know what I mean. It's a plenum, and then anybody can look that up. It's a primordial plenum that's pure hydrogen. And when God spoke,
Okay, so what
that
are the gravitational
vibration,
waves traveling through now?
they're
Because it's
the
not that
exact same
anymore.
thing. I believe the celestial DNA that creates the cosmos, including black holes, planets, our planet,
Depending on where
moons,
you are, there can
stars.
be upwards of a meter between the average. There can be upwards of an average of 1 meter between a pair of atoms in the universe, right?
That's fine.
That
And that's
depends.
fine.
Of
I
course, that
think
depends on where you are. So when the gravitational
right.
wave goes from one atom to the next atom, when it's passing by one and then passes by the other, what is it passing through on its way from one atom to the next?
I believe it's called waters and or dark matter. I believe the dark
There's nothing
matter was.
there.
I know this is what my book postulates. So
Oh,
from the but
so
the
your
biblical
book's just
narrative.
wrong?
No. Hear me out. We have something called perceived reality. The scripture talks about creating things from the beginning, and it gives an order. The sequence shows the earth was, well, the heavens were made, which I believe are the physical properties of the universe. And then he said the earth was made. I believe the earth was made from this primordial plenum. And when he spoke, just like with sonoluminescence, how sound can cause light, when he spoke, light was produced. Light is not necessarily a sun or a star. Light in itself is its own thing. So scripture says, let there be light. So we have sound and light first.
That's
We
cool.
need those
So, like,
things
what
first.
is between the two atoms in space? You know, in intergalactic space where the average distance is around a meter. What's between them?
I believe it is water and or the dark matter. I believe it's.
So,
we
what is the
call it-
water? Wait, so
If you
there's
would've
not
let me
necessarily any
finish
dark matter
talking, I
there
would've
either.
Explained it. Well, technically, that's because we see a vacuum. Now, granted, here's also the case.
So, what's between them?
I got you. Humanity sees just a thin spectrum of light, right? But there's a long light spectrum. We also
Yeah, and we
recognize
can
what bro
detect
said.
all of them.
We also noticed that bro said that light travels through the cosmos. We call it light years because it still has to travel, but it's photons, part physical, and it's also a wave. That wave is traveling through the wave of the cosmos. That's why it
What is
seems like
what
things
is
are
that wave
stretching.
traveling through?
Water, I believe that's what the scripture is saying. It's not H2O water.
But where's
It's
the? Oh, that's just what water is, though.
no, but it's not H2O water. It's
What is
this
it?
is what I'm saying. So can a liquid
It's
be
aqua.
No. You're not hearing me.
Real
Since
G's
the
get the
Wait.
reference, by the way.
I do. I
first,
do.
I missed it over my head.
Wait.
okay.
Okay. I just want to get super clear here.
Gotcha.
When there's like a connection between, I don't know, like the moon and the tides, that's gravity. What do those gravitational waves travel through?
I believe same thing. Like I'm trying to
Do
postulate.
you think there's water
So there's-
still on the earth? Like there's this like
Huh?
chaotic primordial waters like in between the moon and the tides? Do you think
I
like
believe
that big section of like open air is
space between
primordial
is
waters?
waters? This is exactly what I'm postulating. That
What is
science also
primordial?
is trying to figure
Whoa,
out.
wait.
Hear me out.
Yeah, I'm
hear
gonna
me,
need a
hear me
source on
out,
that
brother.
one.
Hear me out, brother. Hear me out. I
Yeah,
got
wait.
you. You guys
Can I
haven't
just
let me
get like
finish my
the
point.
name of the source?
The source of what, bro? I haven't said anything.
It's like the source for the. You said science claims this. What's the source that science claims it?
All right, let me say the point, and I got you, and we can all look it up together. So science is also pointing to these things. When we're trying to create the boson particle, the God particle, how things are held together, and we're talking about black matter and or dark matter, and we're also talking about the web of space, how things sit in these like gravitational wells. I believe this
And I just want
matter
the
or
source that
this
says
web.
that science
I
claims
got you,
that
brother.
gravity travels through that. Can I get the
What do
source
you
for
mean?
that one?
That gravity travels. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
I think the multitude of you
Wait,
guys' questions is like confusing me because
y'all.
you're both you're asking me questions. So what are you
Gravitational
asking?
wells have water in them
What you
because
see what
they're
I'm saying? Like
wells.
where are we at right now? Are you I'm not saying
Just
that
double checking.
gravitational wells have water in them or whatever. I don't know what you guys are trying to do.
Okay, I'm just
with the
checking.
wordplay semantics. Okay. Like if you'll let me talk, I can defend my point, then you can address it. Can we do that real quick?
That's my bad.
All right. So since there's primordial plenum and the universe is like a shapeless, constantly moving thing. This is from what I believe happened in the beginning. If you don't want to agree with it, that's fine. I'm not a scientist, but I believe this is what makes sense to me from when I consider everything. In the beginning, before there was any star, moon, planets, or anything, there's this primordial water. That primordial water was used through sonoluminescence, sound, light, etc., the word of God, power, energy, etc., to cause a spinning and or that axis point, a pinpointed point within that primordial liquid that caused the spinning of our Earth's axis. I believe the Earth was created first before the sun, the moon, and the stars. I believe that the scripture says that light was created first, and then eventually, of course, we get to the earth. I believe that when it does say it created the moon and the sun and the stars, that these things are created around us so that we can see these stars and constellations, which is why it kind of seems like we're in the center of the universe.
That's great. We've all read the Bible.
So I'm
What's the
simply
source
saying I
that
got you.
claims that what gravity is traveling through is the primordial waters? I just want that source.
All right.
The
So the
thing that you
source.
claimed.
So I'm not making that claim.
You
I'm
did make
making the
that claim. Are you taking that
You're
claim
not
back?
letting
And
me
then you
finish
said that you would
talking, brother. You're
explain it
being
and then
impatient,
give the
brother.
source. Are you taking? You said it
All right.
twice.
So I'll get straight to the third day or whenever the day
Wait,
is in the
wait.
series.
We've all
There's
already read the Bible. I
waters-
just want the source.
The waters
like
were
the
spinning
scientific
together.
source.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Wait,
brother,
buddy.
brother.
Just the scientific
The wa-
source. I've already
Bro.
read the Bible. Don't tell me. Just give me the source.
Bro, I'm not going to stunt. We're gonna have to look this up together.
Okay, do it
because
right now.
I'm
then.
not going off of a scientific
Wait,
source in the
then
terms
do
of-
it. Oh, so you don't have a
One-
scientific source for anything you're saying?
Let me say it again. I'm not going off of one scientific source.
Do you have a
for
single
all
one?
Of my, I can, and I think if you let
Name
me
one.
get out the point, you'll be
Wait,
able to know.
jump
what
to
to
the
ask
scientific source. I'm not going to let you yap.
For. All right, bro, we'll do this because
Yeah.
it's not about the source, bro. It's about you understanding that this is pointing to how God is
I'm not
real,
going
but
to
I'll give
believe
the
you
source
unless you give me the
from a
source.
science. I got you, brother. 1 second. I'll just simply look up dark matter.
Yeah, ask, do gravitational waves, is the medium that gravitational waves travel through dark matter?
And does gravity travel through it? Dark matter and does
No.
gravity
Is that the medium that it travels through?
is dark? So you want to know, is dark matter the medium that gravity travels through?
Yeah.
Okay. Is dark matter? Well, I think I can answer that for you, but okay. Is dark matter the medium that gravity waves or just gravity?
Just gravity.
Gravity travels through. It said no, dark matter is not the medium that gravity travels through.
Sure.
In modern physics, gravity does not require a physical substance to travel through space. Instead, it is described as a warping of space-time.
Yes.
This is still helping my
Exactly.
point, brother. This
So
still helping my point.
How
That's
would
why I
you
brought up what
explain?
time
So if
was.
space time isn't a real thing, if time is not real, how does gravity travel through it?
No one said time isn't real, bro.
You said that it's just like a measurement. If it's just a
measurement,
measurement
right.
of God's will, then how does gravity travel through it?
If you have a measuring line, do things travel through that measuring line?
Nothing travels
measure
through a
things based upon-
measurement.
Can we
right?
measure
Gravity
the
doesn't
light
travel
years in
through
distance?
measurements. That's gibberish.
Oh, so we can't. So when we shoot rockets using our orbit, we don't know how to use that numbering sequence of mathematics to see that distance.
Did I say that?
Like, what are
Is
you
that what I
talking about?
said?
There's all right. So what are you postulating?
Wait,
What are you
okay,
saying?
sure. Because you just put more words into my mouth that I just categorically didn't say. So we know that gravity is a real thing that really travels through things because of tides, for example, among other things. But what does it travel through? It travels through time. It travels through space-time. Space-time needs to be a real thing in order for gravity to travel through it.
Correct. And where did that come from?
So,
This is
okay,
once
wait,
again
then you
back to
agree.
God.
Wait, do you think that God was eternally creating space-time, or do you think he began to create it at some point?
I believe that space-time, since he needs awareness, time in itself has an essential quality, like I was saying with existence, that's associated with the eternality properties of God. So he must be aware of the time sequence, so therefore it is also with him. So he can put things in linear time. He could be at the beginning of it or the end of it. He's not held by time.
What?
Wait, so then just to clarify, so basically, so God's not the creator of time then?
What, bro? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Is God the creator of time? Did he create it?
I think anything that has been created, like scripture says, anything seen or unseen has been created by God.
So God did create time.
Yeah, sure.
Did
We'll
God,
say that.
has God eternally
Sure.
created time, or does he begin to create it at some point? Does he go from not creating it to creating it, or has he eternally created it?
That's a great question. I think both could be true, and if both were true,
Okay,
it wouldn't be
that's
a
a
problem. And I
contradiction.
think it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be a contradiction because if it's plausibly true, and or if it's practically true, it can be true. So I believe the
So
point is, does this disqualify that God is real, bro? You still haven't addressed that to any degree. You've
and
just been
not
questioning my science.
eternally
So
creating time. So
how
just
do
to be
you know
clear, wait,
God
just to be
isn't real,
clear,
bro?
wait, just to be clear, you would affirm that God is eternally creating time and not eternally creating time. Is that correct?
I would say this,
Wait, isn't that
that
what you just said?
if time is a
Wait,
measure
is that what you just
based upon
said? Is
context,
that what
hold
you
on.
just said or not?
I postulated that if God created
Is
time
that what you
eternally
just
or if
said?
God created time eventually, that either could be true and it possibly would
Oh,
not
wait, you said that both could be
nullify that
true.
God is real, and it would
Okay,
not nullify that God is real.
okay,
That was
let's
the
do this
premise of my
quickly.
point. Just to say, you know, hey, in either case, does that nullify if God is real?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. Because in either case, either God goes from not creating it to creating it, so God changes, or God's eternally creating it, so then he never creates it because it's eternal. So either case, it fails.
All right. So if God, if for me, since my God is eternal, clearly the latter answer, or the answer that suffices my postulation of God being real, is the one that suffices for me. Now for you, cool,
Wait,
but I
but
still
what's the
haven't heard
answer?
you
What is the
say
answer for
why
you?
God isn't real.
I just want to, yeah, I just showed you, right? There's a
Like I
contradiction.
said, from what I said, God exists outside of time.
No,
You
no,
feel
no.
me?
But that is the
And
contradiction, right? Because then you have to say that God created time eternally, which means that he never actually created it.
and like I said, we have to clarify time.
Yeah,
And that was the
we
point
already
that I was
clarified
saying, bro.
this. Wait, so
No,
then
all
you
right.
agree
So
that God's not the
time is a
creator because
measure.
time's
Time is a
eternal?
measure, but then you have subjective
Wait, I'm so
time, bro.
sorry.
That's
So
what
you
I'm
think
saying.
that time's eternal? Is that correct?
I believe that time has a quality of it that's essentially eternal because of
Okay.
it having to do with awareness. Meaning, when
Can
you're aware
eternal
of
things be
something,
created?
can eternal things have a perception of time? Is
Can
the
they be?
question that's really
No, I'm sorry. The question I asked you: can eternal things be created?
no.
Oh, cool. Then God didn't create time. Thanks for playing. I gotta leave. Fuck. It happened again. I can't read supers. God damn it. Okay, I'll see you all later. Oh, also a new video on YouTube. I have office hours right this second. Fuck. In fact, I'm like 3 minutes late to it. Fuck. 1 sec. Okay. Fuck me, dude. Okay, I guess it's public. We made it public.
Get wrecked.
If something is true from God's perspective that is objectively true, absolutely. Subjectively true, absolutely. That change doesn't. No, I would not agree with C.
That's the conclusion. It follows from the premises.
It would not follow from the premises.
It does follow from the premises. I'm happy to
That does
demonstrate
not
that for
follow.
you. This follows by
I
modus
mean,
ponens.
we just
The inference rule is
explained
P.
that.
P implies Q, therefore Q. That's
I
the.
mean, you can say what you want, but it's just it
You
literally is
don't think
objectively
that
true.
modus
That's not
ponens
true.
is you don't
Like,
think
what?
you don't think modus ponens is a valid
What?
inference rule? You don't think modus ponens is valid?
Hey,
Hey,
how
how's
you
it
doing?
going? Yep. Yeah, dude's the goat. Okay. Yeah, go give that a watch. It's titled Christian, I Reject the Conclusion.